1, 2, 3, inside of me, bright eyes, hypnotized, never telling lies, socialite, half-life, check yourself, do it right, you will be fine. 4, 5, 6, no stones or sticks, my broken bones, somehow they all got fixed. You're so in demand, you're my vitamins, pretending highs. Abracadabra, 1, 2, 3, please make them disappear. And whatever happens, promise me you won't leave me here. Seven, 8, 9, no, not alright. TV, catch me, crushes, waste time, out of sight and out of mind. Just need another rhyme, I'm too numb to cry. 8, 9, 10, it's happening again. I'm moving out and moving on, I'll throw away and hold it in. You're lonely, never ever only, nothing feels right. Abracadabra, 1, 2, 3, please make them disappear. And whatever happens, promise me you won't leave me here. Leave me here. Spell again, how come you're emotionless? I just am. Abracadabra, 1, 2, 3, please make them disappear. And whatever happens, promise me you won't leave me here. Abracadabra, 1, 2, 3, please make them disappear. And whatever happens, promise me you won't leave me here. Leave it behind. Paint away, day and night, 6 hearts of ammo.
Check, 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 check. Yo, yo, yo.
And if you dare, someone new is pulling everywhere. I'm afraid to let the nothing is what I think I will drown in.
Let's go. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Let's go. All right. So, little news for you guys. You ready? Let me give you a little news. All right. First, we're gonna fix our little chat here. All right. There we go. All right. So, dude, got a little news. Okay, so here's the deal. Let me give you the rundown. So I have, obviously, I got but yeah, all right, congrats. But anyway, so here's what is going on. So I got banned from Twitch for a month, and I switched to YouTube, and then I did file an appeal, and they moved my ban to 15 days. So I don't know what's going to happen after that 15 days. I know that I'm going to continue streaming on YouTube. I may do a multi-stream. I may split it up by days of the week. Like, you know what I'm saying? I may do a couple days a week on Twitch and then the rest of the days on YouTube. But I'm definitely not leaving YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I don't exactly know how that's going to play out. Maybe I'll multi-stream. I don't know. But I'm definitely going to continue streaming on YouTube, mostly full-time, if not full-time. Now, on that end of streaming on YouTube, we're trying something new today because YouTube, like, downloading the live streams on YouTube sucks. Okay? Like, you can't download them. You can download them 720p, which is useless. And you have to, like, use a downloader or what have you. So tonight I am recording the stream while simultaneously streaming. So what I want you guys to do is, if the stream lags or anything tonight, let me know. I don't think it's going to. I think we should be good. I think I have the settings dialed in, but we're going to see how that goes. Okay. So how do I get banned from Twitch? So Peter, what it was is it involved somebody in chat bringing up this topic that Hassan got banned for about the World Trade Centers, and they basically typed what he had said in chat, and then I said, well, he's not entirely wrong. And so that's why they banned me. And then some other bullshit about the police station or whatever, which that was fucking horseshit. But I think it mostly had to do with me basically saying the very controversial thing that Hassan said about 9/11, that he was not entirely wrong, is how I phrased it. And Twitch did not like that. But I had just recently, though, I'm telling you guys, I made a video about this. I had a heated face-to-face fight with the CEO of Twitch at this Twitch Connect event a couple of weeks ago. And my Twitch channel was under unusual scrutiny since then. They audited my emotes and banned a bunch of them. And then they banned my stream. Like, I think the argument I had with him, I think he flagged my account or something. Right? After that, right? You know what I'm saying? That's still an untouchable subject. I know. And it probably should be. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, there was something going on. I mean, you guys, I detailed it in the video, but I've had 2 years of conflicts with Twitch. I've had 2 years, man, of some pretty significant conflicts with them, of like catching them, you know, like defrauding advertisers and them taking away money from my account that they shouldn't have taken. So I've had a couple years. Now, see, my thing, guys, is I don't want to stream on Twitch again. I want to just stay on YouTube and be like, fuck Twitch. But I have, you know, there's probably like 100 people who have been subscribing to me for 4 years straight. And if, you know, I don't want those people to like lose their 4 years of consistency. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that I'm torn is there are some people who stuck with me during this very difficult transition where I lost all my income for 2 years and slowly started with nothing but a chat filled with people who fucking hate me, where I had to ban, you know, 150 people a night. And there's some people that stuck with me through all of that, you know, I don't necessarily want them to lose their streaks. So I've got a couple weeks to figure it out. Should play Fortnite again? No, that's not happening, right? That is not going to happen, right? Not for a long time. Yeah, so Canal, I'm just going to remove, I removed that message just because I don't want to start any shit around that topic. But yes, I will say that American foreign policy impacts that shit. All foreign policy does. You know what I'm saying? The quote terrorism. See, it's just a double-edged sword, okay? Because we sit in America and we have news reports that talk about the Islamic terrorists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you go to countries in the Middle East, they're talking about American terrorists. So terrorism is just in the eye of the beholder. Can you get banned on YouTube? You can. I don't know like what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what their tolerance is. I know that particular subject is like super, like there is a super, there is some real like Zionism and red pilling shit going on behind the scenes somewhere on Twitch, right? I think it's a Bezos thing. I think it has to do with the new CEO, right? Who, believe it or not, the new CEO, I don't think he likes Hassan, right? The new CEO, like from my interactions with him, I was defending Hassan's right to fucking speak freely, and he was looking at Hassan as like somebody that was costing him advertisers. You know what I'm saying? Like there was Hassan is Twitch. I mean, I don't know about that. I think right now 𝗙cie is Twitch, right? 𝗙cie is like the, you know, the sort of the biggest cow on that platform, right? You know, it was 𝗙cie. But I mean, dude, Hassan was a big part of their, like, the only reason anybody political streamed there was basically because of him. He defined the tone on that. How do I stay positive? Well, so, I mean, for me, that's just sort of I think that's my superpower, right? I convert, you know, I mean, I grew up in a really traumatic, abusive family with a lot of chaos. And so for whatever reason, I was gifted with a superpower of being able to feel pain and take it all in and turn it into like hope and joy. And I don't know how I do it. It's just, I mean, like you'd have to ask Jenny. Maybe she knows how I do it. She watches me do it. But I have a thing that is just, I think it's like my superpower. Oh yeah, no, I will get the BTTTV and the 7TTV. I have them both sort of hooked up to YouTube. I just haven't connected them. But so for me, I have a little bit of a superpower related to that. So I don't know how other people do it. I mean, for me, it's compassion based, and so I don't look at things as good and evil. I look at things as like a fundamental understanding that all the good and the bad in the world is in all of us, right? So anything that I look at in the world that's negative and horrible, I know that those same impulses and that same negativity is in me. And so that allows me to not see them as different than me. And it allows me to then process their hate and their negativity and what have you in a way that I can, tap into it. Because I know that like they're no different than me. They're just, they just have different concerns, right? You know what I mean? It's like, right? Like we sit here night after night worried about a fascist takeover where we lose all our rights. And they sit at home night after night being afraid that their kid is gay or trans. Now, granted, their shit is ridiculous because theirs is more about controlling the humans and ours is more about not wanting to be controlled. But they don't see it that way, right? They see, like for them, because of their religious indoctrination, they see if their kid was gay, it's like some huge fucking deal. I mean, so you just got to remember that. But it's weird, though. It's weird that something about politics doesn't really get me too down, right? Like I used to get down in the gaming world. There was like a negativity there and it was really not, it wasn't attached to anything real. You know what I mean? Like in the gaming world, there's a lot of negativity and a lot of animosity, but it's not about like defending civil rights. It's about stupid shit, like proving yourself to a group of teenage boys or whatever, which is dumb, right? I mean, I know it feels very serious if you're a teenage boy. It feels life or death, but it's not substantive. So the negativity in the gaming world used to really get to me sometimes. But the negativity, though, in politics doesn't get to me as much because I know that I am fighting for, like, human beings to breathe, to be able to breathe, to be able to shine, to be able to not have somebody tell them that they're shining too brightly. And that's a mission that is, like, so aligned with my core that, you can't really dampen it because that was the path I grew up in. I grew up in a world where I shined really bright and a lot of people in the world kept trying to tell me to turn down. And I was like, fuck you. I'm not turning down. Right? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, so Barry, I mean, I hear you, right? About the same far right politics infiltrating Canada. They're rooting around the world, guys, the far right, and it's because I believe it's a natural response to the pandemic. I think the trauma of the pandemic has reignited some of those civil rights like battles and some of those gender and patriarchy battles that we've been fighting. And so everybody got isolated, and that's where that shit festers, right? When people were alone, just consuming shit on TikTok and the algorithms, it allowed a lot of negativity to stir, You know what I'm saying? You had the craziest day, someone hit your house with a car? No fucking way, bro. Jesus, right? What do I think about Elon's anger against the spending bill? I mean, it's deserved. We're going to look at the spending bill. All right. We're going to look through that. We have to look through that because it's, you guys got to remember that a while back we watched a TikTok, okay, about this. I don't know if you saw it, but it was a woman had taken the spending bill and she put it into ChatGPT and she asked for some very specific information. So this spending bill, guys, is not just a spending bill. Okay, it is an attempt to sort of fundamentally rewire how government operates. Okay, so there is, you know, a little bit in there about expanding that border Gestapo, significant expansion. There is some shit in there about AI, right? This, like, you know, I think the AI moratorium is still in there. I don't know if they pulled that. But there is some like reshaping of government agencies. There is some like tamping down on Congress's ability to, you know, moderate the power of the presidency. I mean, there's a lot of shit. I mean, the financial shit is bad enough, but it's the other shit that they have layered in there that makes this thing supremely toxic. And what's more, they're trying to bribe the votes. Okay, they're going around individually to Republican congressmen and congresswomen and basically trying to offer them anything they need in an amendment, right? Like Murkowski was trying to get an exemption for the SNAP and the Medicaid cuts, which it didn't work because right now, I think the parliamentarian has been saving the day. Okay, now, for you, those of you who don't know what the Senate parliamentarian is a nonpartisan position. Okay, hold on. I'm going to kill the music here. The Senate parliamentarian is a nonpartisan position that is there to determine what fits in the rules. Okay, now what's going on particularly with this bill is about mandatory spending versus discretionary spending. Because normally the bills in the Senate require 60 votes, okay? But now, because there's this polarization and nobody can get the 60 votes, they have been working on reconciliation. So reconciliation bills can only concern mandatory spending items, not discretionary. So what they do is they create a bill that's based around the mandatory spending concept, and then they pass. That bill only needs 51 votes. Okay, it needs a simple majority. Now, the Senate parliamentarian has to go through all of these amendments and all of these decisions and decide, is this mandatory? Is this discretionary? That's why that shit got stripped out by Lisa Murkowski. Because she was like, no, this bill sucks. I'm not going to vote for it. And they're like, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll say non-contiguous states don't get Medicare cuts, don't get SNAP cuts. And then Lisa Murkowski sold the rest of the country down the river saying, okay, my state's protected, so everybody else can fry. And she was good with that. But then the Senate parliamentarian said, no, that's discretionary spending. Because it's not mandatory that those states, right? It is not a mandatory spending issue to exempt a couple of states in that way. So that got nixed. So the parliamentarian now, you may have seen today online, because all the MAGA shitheads, they don't understand what the parliamentarian does. They probably don't even understand the concept of reconciliation. They've just been calling for the parliamentarian to be fired because she's enforcing the rules, okay? And in particular, let's start with the Benny Johnson tweet, okay? Because, of course, Benny Johnson is the biggest cuck, okay? But look at what he posted. I feel like this is important because the tweet he posted right here is literally this right here. This tweet is like the MAGA movement, okay? This tweet is the MAGA movement in one tweet, guys. Okay? This is white American Christianity in one tweet right here. And just look at what it says, okay? It says, an unelected staffer, that's the Senate parliamentarian, just blocked the Senate from cutting Medicaid for criminal aliens. Now he's saying her name. They've been showing her picture. They're essentially doxing her, I'm sure, as it speaks, to attack her, right? Elizabeth McDonough is overruling 53 senators and 77 million voters. This is a direct betrayal. Fire her, override her, change the rules, get it done. But right here is the part that I want to focus on, because this, guys, is the big problem we have with MAGA, okay? And yes, Benny Johnson is a very punchable face. Oh, Benny, you cock! All right, so this, though, this concept is they always talk law and order. They always talk about the rules in their Bible and you know, the way things have to be. But when it comes to them getting what they want, they're like, override the rules, change the rules, do whatever it takes. We don't care if you break the rules. We don't care if you break the law. We don't care. We get to override and rewrite everything, right? If they're white Christians, they get to override and rewrite everything and do whatever the hell they want. And law and order for everybody else, right? You know what I'm saying? And that is what we're dealing with, which is why, you know, Cenk Uygur and his little, oh, let's partner up with MAGA. It's why, no, you don't. Because the fact of the matter is they lie, they cheat, they steal, okay? They override, they change the rules, okay? They change the rules because they have such an arrogance and such a sense of entitlement because of the belief that they have some relationship with the person or the entity that created all of us, that they believe they own us as though we are their subjects, and they get to change the rules. They get to fucking change the game. They get to do whatever they want. And you know what I'm saying? And to those guys, like, we have to fight this shit with every fiber of our being, guys. Like this is the real battle. This is the real battle right here, which is standing up to these religious freaks and refusing to bow down and have them desecrate our freedom with their demands based on their fraudulent religion. You know what I'm saying? Based on their fraudulent religion, right? That is right? That is the absolute thing that needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? That absolutely needs to happen. It's like the number one thing, right? You know what I mean? It's the number one thing. And so that, yeah, no, and we won't be seeing any more of their messages anymore either, right? Fucking later. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy your moment of sun, but we'll ban all those gamer shitters here too. We're unbowed by them. But anyway, so that, guys, this is the fight we have. This is the main fight, okay? Because, guys, this fight with these religious zealots, with the Riley Gaines, the libs of TikTok, the evangelicals, the Heritage Foundation, Benny Johnson, this is not going away when Trump disappears, guys, okay? This is not going away when Trump disappears, okay? It is absolutely not going away. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're after, guys. Like, this battle, okay? This battle I feel like it's here to stay. You know what I'm saying? You had to Google who Benny Johnson was. Yeah, so Benny Johnson, he's got an interesting story, okay, because he used to work for BuzzFeed and he got fired for plagiarism, okay, for significant plagiarism. You know what I mean? And hold on. Let's go. Did that delete him? All right. I think I did it correct this time. Good. Yeah, sorry. I'm no offense, but I'm banning all the gamer shitters and they're going to be unable. So, yeah, so the thing about Benny Johnson is he got fired for plagiarism. Then he got another job. Then he got fired for plagiarism again, okay, 2 times. And then he became a right-wing influencer. He took that Russian money. Yeah, he took that Russian money. So, yeah, so Jenny, what it is to mod is you have 2. You have put user in timeout, and then the other one is called a hide user on this channel. And when you hide user on this channel, that is what makes them fucking disappear. And then you'll never see their comments again. They're like gone. Yeah, that's it. To anybody who's new to the YouTube modding. But so the thing about Benny though is he targets young people. Yeah, all right. I'll add you as a moderator. So Benny Johnson targets young people, okay? He does. If you look at his content, it has a lot of like boops and bleeps and that sort of Mr. Beast kind of thing. And he uses AI to create these thumbnails that makes people look like they're crying. And so this is part of the new battle, is because religious people, they know that indoctrination is about the young. So they're starting to make content like anti-woke content aimed at like the 6-year-olds, the 8-year-olds, the 10-year-olds on YouTube and on TikTok. They're catering, they're trying to radicalize young white men. This is the new battle, trying to radicalize young men. And it worked a little bit in this last election. What happened in this last election is Charlie Kirk went fraternity by fraternity, and they were making content, viral content aimed at young white men. And what happened is normally young white men just don't vote because they're so privileged, they're unaffected no matter who's in office. So normally they don't show up to the polls unless they're liberal, and then they're fighting to maintain like civil rights and shit. But what they did in this election is through TPUSA and through people like Benny Johnson is they got the young white men to show up. Okay. They basically like got them to show up with a combination of homophobia and fear, right? A lot of homophobia had to do with it though. This idea that you know, they're going to make all the women are going to be trans. You're not going to have any straight women left anymore, any cisgendered women left anymore if the woke people took over. Like every woman you like is going to have a penis is sort of their attack point, right? Like laying in on that weird homophobia shit and using, you know, the Jake and Logan Paul in the gaming community. Like it's really disgusting, like really gross. I mean, it was a huge, obviously you saw the ads during the NFL games. It was the cornerstone of their campaign, of the Trump campaign. And I feel like it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a cornerstone, like going forward. It's going to be, you know, it worked a little bit. So they're going to do it again, you know? And here we are. And yeah, dude, Cenk and Anna jumped on that shit too. They did. Bring a good candidate and the young men will come. Yeah, I mean, like we'll see. I think young conservative men, I think young conservative MAGA radicalized men are never going to vote Democratic. Okay? Dude, let's go. Dude, PV in the house. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that membership. Let's go. But yeah, it's true, guys. It is true that the MAGA youth are not going to vote for a Democratic candidate. Okay? That's the reality of where we're at. Like, this is why, right? This is why we need to focus on the left coalition. Okay, we do. We need to focus on the left coalition. And that means even getting along with people like we can't stand, right? You know what I'm saying? In our own unit, like especially during election years, like becoming a coalition. Because the fact of the matter is I think the polarization, I don't think like most of the MAGA voters, the people that voted for Trump, most all of them are never going to vote for a Democrat. Okay? You know what I'm saying? You know, it's really like going to be challenging. Dude, frat boys, yeah. The frat boy life is tough. And I understand a little bit. Desiree, let's go. Oh yeah. Thank you for the memberships. Appreciate it. We get a free Trump go bye-bye with every membership. And during the donation, we'll do another donation thing too. That worked out pretty well for where we earn a dance party. Let's go, dude. I always like that at the beginning of the stream. We get a dance party out of the way. We did one of those yesterday. It was pretty fun, right? Goal, right? It was pretty nice. But so thank you, Desiree, and thank you, 𝗙𝗏𝗍. I appreciate that. So what I was going to say though is so we have to get along with Cenk and Anna, not right now, right? And what we got to do is I think, Paige, more like, you know, what I'm saying is now, like in a non-election year, no, we need to call them out. Cenk and Anna are a little different though, because Cenk and Anna are going to try to rat fuck the election, right? So we more like with Cenk and Anna, I think we're going to have to call them out and keep challenging the shit they pull during the election year, because we know, right, that they're going to. Yeah, there are just so many like leftists. And dude, Charlie Brown, like, why are you calling out my moderators? Like, none of my moderators have done anything to your stuff. Like, YouTube has their own moderation boss. So you obviously have a YouTube issue. So that's a you thing, right? That you need to figure out with YouTube, right? Because YouTube censors you. We haven't touched you, right? There's no moderation indication for you at all, boss. Right? Yeah. And so watch your tone too. Don't get lippy, right? Because we will send you to the bargain bin. Show the mods a little bit of respect, right? You should, before you make assumptions like that. We have good mods that are new to YouTube, but YouTube censors a lot of shit, right? They do, yeah, they don't show a lot of messages. Now, it's crazy because I've not really had a lot of contact with that, but oh my God, today, can I just tell you, today somebody left a message. Ann, let's go. Oh! Let's go. Thank you, Ann. Appreciate the membership. So let me just tell you, yeah, dude, Brutus, let's go. Oh, yes. Let's go, baby. Oh, now we're rolling. Let's go. I'm glad you're here. So YouTube, somebody today, okay, can I just tell you, I woke up this morning and somebody left a comment, like basically telling me that I'm a dumbass and a shithead and I'm programmed and all this, but they left like 7 comments, okay? 7 comments. And then they started accusing me of deleting their comments as they were leaving them because YouTube was deleting them. So they were literally having a conversation with themselves and YouTube for like 20 minutes during a video. Dude, I took screenshots because I was like, oh my God, like, what are they doing? And then they kept like, you're deleting my comments. I can't believe you're deleting my comments. I mean, I didn't reply. I just hid them from the channel. Fancy. Let's go. Thank you, Fancy. Whoa. Dude, but it's so funny, right? About how like YouTube does that. And I actually had it with like a long time subscriber on Twitch had that once where he's like, why are you deleting my comments? And I'm like, dude, I have never once deleted a comment on this YouTube channel, right? Unless it's like the only time I ever deleted comments were when I posted about Shiloh Hendricks and that the N-word woman, and when the racists come in, like I delete comments. I delete a lot of comments and I move all those racists. I get all their garbage out. But other than that, if I'm doing a video about transgender people or a video about racism and all those nasty shitters come in, I never delete a comment if it's not one of those like blatant, hateful sort of things. You know, I'll hide users. I'll make users disappear that are scummy, but I don't go around. I don't even have time to see a lot of the comments. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I don't, a lot of times I don't see them. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I see them and, I go through and I like and I comment to as many people as I can. But a lot of times I'll go days without even seeing any comments because I'm just too busy. But yeah, man, this right here is going to be like, you see, it's like authoritarianism is like, they're calling for it. Entropy. Let's go, baby. Oh, let's go, dude. All right. Now we are into it. All right, I'm adding a goal now. We're gonna try and get we're gonna do a dance party. All right, we're gonna do a dance party goal. Screw it. You guys got me inspired. All right, we have to dance. I'll still have to dance to like not the best music because right, because I the music I can use on this channel right now is severely limited. I will say this though, I'm going to talk to the company that handles copyright for my records, and I'm going to make it so I'll be able to play my records on YouTube. But we're going to start a little fancy super chat goal. Let's go for a dance party. 2 hours, baby. All right. So back to the point, guys. The problem is not just Trump, okay? The problem is not just Trump. The problem is they want authoritarianism, okay? That is really what happens, right? They want authoritarianism. They do, right? They want authoritarianism. The people do. The voters, the white Christian voters want authoritarianism of the white Christian variety, right? That's what it is. And Ash, I will collab with other content creators. It's hard because that has to happen like a little bit organically, because in the beginning, it's hard to collab with people because everybody is trying to collab up, right? And so you got to sort of go lateral. But like, it takes a little while to meet people and dude, it's all going to happen. It just takes time, right? You got to think of these things in terms of years and not months, right? I'm sure like a year and a half from now, right? Like by the time the 2026 election is done and over, right? November 2026, I'm sure there will be lots of collabs that will be forming, and you know what I mean? I like to do it really organically, right? Like in particular though, somebody did mention me in Hal Sparks' stream. And so I am going to tweet at him. I have that clip. So I am going to tweet at him, which will be nice. That may end up a meeting, but it'll happen. It's going to happen. It's just going to take a little time. Thank you, privacy. Let's go, baby. And the Vanguard boys, yeah, you know what I love? Can I just tell you something about the Vanguard guys that made me like, you ready for this? You want to see something? Watch this, guys. Okay, because this, dude, Living Dead Girl, let's go. Thank you. All right, so that's 2 out of 10. So let me show you something, guys. Okay, because the Vanguard, I want to show you how these guys are for real. Okay, because you know Anna and Cenk and all that, they always call and say, oh, those guys are just living off of us. They talk down to them. But check this out. Let me show you something, guys. I want to show you something right here. Watch this. You ready? Look at this. Look at this. You see that? That's the future New York mayor who's setting the world on fire, Zoran Kwame Mondami, right? 4 years ago, bro. Okay? He was on their radar 4 years ago when he was running for his state assembly right during the pandemic. Okay? And he was already on their radar. So when you want to give the Vanguard, like, talk shit or act like whatever drama they're doing it, these guys have been watching and paying attention to the progressive scene like long before anybody else was. You know what I'm saying? And that's the real fucking deal there. Okay? That's the real deal. Dude, oh my God, I like Tara Dublin. Yeah, we know each other too. She was the first woman to play my music on the radio. One of the first women to play the Wanneds on, the actual KNRK here. She used to have a radio show here in Portland. But you see what I'm saying? Like, these guys, right, were on them, were talking to this guy before anybody knew he was going to be the next mayor. Okay? And so that's the thing about it that I think is important to notice. Okay, dude, let's go. Dude, Eugene, let's go, baby. You know what I mean? Because this goes back to that thing I say about, like, walking the walk, right? There are people that talk the talk, okay? There are people that, like, now Cenk and Anna are talking about Zoran, right? Now they are, because he's on the national stage and he's really viral and everybody's talking. So now they're going to have an opinion. And now they're like, oh, he's using our strategy. But the fact of the matter is, these guys have been really paying attention to progressive politics. These guys have been really watching these guys. The only thing I could find from TYT about Zoran was when he shut down Crackhead Barney. Okay, there was, like, he was being a troll, or somebody was trying to troll him and he shut them down. And they're like, oh, this guy shut down a troll. But they didn't say anything about his politics, or they didn't give him any interviews or anything like that. But this is, when I saw this, I realized, like, man, these guys are really, like, doing it up. And look at what TYT is doing, dude. Look at TYT's video down here. Zoran Mamdani gets attacked by his own party. Look at that, dude. They're, like, using it to attack the Democrats. Of course they are. Dude, TYT are the biggest shitters out there. Oh my God, let's watch this video, shall we? Let's watch some TYT propaganda. But yeah, I'm going to put a link to this video if you want to watch it. Dude, I watched a chunk of it yesterday. It was good shit. Dude, I love the Vanguard. All right, that is a worthwhile, but dude, look at this. Look at the framing, dude. Look at the framing. TYT. Zoran Mamdani gets attacked by his own party. Oh my God, isn't that rich? Dude, isn't that rich? This is coming from the chief attackers of the Democrats. Like, the biggest, like, leftist, and I use that term lightly, right? Dude, that's crazy. Of course they're framing this. Makes all uneducated voters think commie BS. Yeah, but you know what's funny though, Trent? Is I hear you with that communism attack and shit like that, and they're trying to make it into this thing where it's like woke and whatnot. But I think I think we have to combat that. I think like democratic socialists need to stand strong, and we have to take that fight of like not letting them shame us for it, and letting the uneducated be the uneducated, because none of the uneducated would be voting for these people anyway, you know. But it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard though, because now socialism, right? I mean, remember Trump, what he said about Kamala? She's a socialist, communist, Marxist. What did he say? Socialist, communist, Marxist. What was the other one, dude? There was one more. Oh, shit. Socialist, communist, Marxist. No, it was like one word. What did he call her? Oh, I got to figure it out. No, it was, so Rebel HQ is part of TYT, Pete. Fascist. That's what it was. Yeah, Rebel HQ is the only part of TYT that is successful. A fascist, communist, socialist, Marxist. Dude, like how? How is it? I mean, think about that, guys. How is it that our country is so dumb that a presidential candidate will call somebody a fascist, socialist, communist, Marxist, and a bunch of people will actually believe that what he's saying has merit? Yeah, but Ash, I didn't mean it that way, because John is on TYT, but Rebel HQ is its own thing that operates independently from TYT, but it's under their umbrella. Like Rebel HQ is like another TYT, right? And John, like the damage report is on the TYT network, if I understand correctly. Like, I don't think Rebel HQ have shows that are streamed on the TYT main network, right? I don't think they do. I could be wrong on that, but I thought that John streams on TYT's channel, doesn't he? And then Rebel HQ is like its own channel, isn't it? Or does Rebel HQ have a show on TYT, right? It's like, because I think Rebel HQ was their way of trying to use TYT content for something that wasn't hated like TYT. The damage report does have its own channel, yes, but when he streams, doesn't he stream on the TYT main channel? Or does he stream on YouTube and they broadcast it? How does that work? Right? But, oh, he streams on both? Okay. But, dude, write a letter to Mr. Japan. Dude, should I get a shirt that says Mr. Japan? I think maybe I should, right? Dude, I'm going to get a shirt. I'm going to get one tonight. I'm going to have one made that says Mr. Japan, dude. Fuck it, bro. Right? Let's go. Dude, so anybody who is staying on TYT, I'm sure has contractual obligations. But, you know, all right, let's watch this video though. Let's see their take on this. All right, you ready? This is going to be because of course they are, right? Of course they are doing this. Of course they are trying to now, right? They're now being like, the Democrats are attacking their own candidate. Like, dude, TYT, man, these guys are not, they're not good, right? Like Anna and Jank, they're actually doing like, they're doing significant fucking harm at this point. Like we really need to stand up and you know, like bear down on them. We're going to have a lot of work ahead of us because they are like really, really slamming it home.
He said that you think is anti-Semitic. What specifically has Mamdani said that you think is anti-Semitic?
pro-Hamas. Hamas is a dangerous terrorist organization.
Pro-Hamas. Dude, what is that? What has he said? He said pro-Hamas. Dude, this guy, corruption charges, is he brain dead? Like, did something happen? Did he get a little CTE? Was he always like this? How the fuck did this guy win an election, bro?
That should be destroyed. To lift them up and praise them, I think that's a clear indicator that something is wrong with that. But he has to
when did he praise Hamas? I don't recall him ever praising Hamas.
Well, that's because he never did praise Hamas, and current New York City Mayor Eric Adams smeared him, lied about him, defamed him, and it's pretty much in line with what Mamdani has experienced from other Democrats, members of his own party.
See, here's the thing. You ready? First off, I think using Eric Adams as an example of like the Democratic Party is like piss poor. I get it. He was a Democrat, but that guy is fully operating with Trump now. Okay, 100%. But dude, I am bothered by this. Okay, I am bothered by this because they have not said anything about Mamdani through his whole campaign. And now they're like, oh my God, we are now like they're like trying to climb on Mamdani's coattails as another opportunity of slamming the Democratic Party, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, they're so disingenuous.
Now, the New York City mayoral candidate, Mamdani, is really making waves because of the fact that he is a self-described democratic socialist. He's also Muslim, and if he does win in the general election, he would be the first Muslim mayor of New York City.
Now, we do have to point out that Mamdani is part of the radical left. That janky, oh, I don't like the radical left. I'm glad they hate me. They took my neck, right? He is part of the radical left. That, like, how is he squaring this now? Janky, how can you be pro-Zoran but anti-Franny? That's not gonna fly, okay? They're fuck nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
And so a bunch of gross people, including Democrats, can't help themselves by sharing just how gross and anti-Semitic they happen to be. I'm sorry, Islamophobic they happen to be. So with that in mind, why don't we go to House Minority Leader 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗏𝗎𝗓, who just can't get himself to endorse Mamdani, and he's gonna explain why.
Dude, I saw somebody say that she's dressing super old, but Lila, this is the youngest I've seen Anna dress in weeks. This is like the first time she's not wearing a doily. I'm serious. Like, I noticed her tonight and I'm like, oh my God, she's dressing somewhat young again. Because normally she's been wearing these things that look like, you know, when you go to your grandma's house and there's like a crocheted thing that sits on top of a toilet paper roll on the back of the, you know, this doily that goes over the toilet paper roll. She's been wearing clothes that look like that, bro. Like this thing. Hold on. I got one. I'm going to show you because I make thumbnails of her all the time. So obviously I have all the looks, but like this thing, dude, right here. Look at that. Like, what is that, bro? Doily. It's a good expression too. This is her expression when Cenk shows up in the studio. Doily! Oh, dude, tonight Cenk farted. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, isn't it crazy? It is rough, dude. That is grandma's grandma's doily. Oh shit. Shit, hell. Hell. Shit, hell. Let's go. Oh yeah, dude. Oh my God, that is the expression whenever she sees her son's like Twitch income, right? She's like, oh shit, I'm having some kind of conniption.
Take a look.
Globalizing the Intifada, by way of example, is not an acceptable phrase, and he's going to have to clarify his position on that as he moves forward. With respect to the Jewish communities that I represent, I think our nominee is going to have to convince folks that he is prepared to aggressively address the rise in anti-Semitism in the city of New York, which has been an unacceptable development.
See, here's what I don't get, okay? Because, you know, he's not going to tread into the language of globalized intifada, but like, they're so focused on that phrase when the reality is like, we have Muslim bans here in America. We've had multiple Muslim bans, trans people banned from the military. And so you want to talk about goddamn like xenophobia or racism or whatever you want to talk about when we're engaging in it, and you want to argue about a 2-word phrase, right? When like, goddamn, bro, like, what are we fucking doing? Yeah, dude, I don't really like 𝗙sze𝗶𝗆𝗆. I showed the tweet the other day that I don't like right after the, you know, right after dude, why am I, like, my brain is just not operating. After the inauguration, he tweeted like, presidents come and go, but there's always Jesus on the throne or God on the throne. And I'm like, oh my God, he just thoughts and prayers the whole country. Hakeem did. I'm not down with that shit.
And any mayor, whether you're a Democratic mayor, Republican mayor, an independent mayor, has got to commit to the safety and well-being of all of the people of the city of New York.
Dude, he has committed to the safety. Dude, and he had so many Jewish, like, canvassers, like he has. In fact, if anything, he's pointed out how the Jewish people and the Muslim people have faced the same types of, like, you know, fervent anti, you know, attacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, anti-Semitism and Islamophobia are like 2 shades of the same fucking disease, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, well, Calver, I think what's hard, you know what's hard about this? What's hard about this is that the right wing is just way more diverse. You know what I'm saying? The right wing is like way more diverse. The left wing, sorry. I meant the left wing, the Democratic Party is way more diverse. So I don't think 𝗙sze𝗶𝗆𝗆 even considers DSA members to be in his party, right? You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to misunderstand my fucking statement there, because I don't want to devalue anti-Semitism, because anti-Semitism and the Holocaust is like, it's fucking horrific, and it's this huge global thing. Right? And Islamophobia, though, is another huge different thing that obviously doesn't have the stain of the Holocaust. But the operating mechanisms of like hating people because they originated from this specific part of the Levant, and you know what I mean? It's a similar mechanism. You know, I believe it's a similar mechanism where it's part of that 3-headed Abrahamic religion dragon, right? Which I wish the Abrahamic religions, all of them would just go silently into the nether region. You know what I mean? Dude, we're getting closer to the dance. Let's go, baby. Thank you, Fontucky. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's super complicated. I mean, I don't know a lot about it, right? So every time I tread into this realm, I feel a little hesitant, because I feel like I'm going to step on some type of, you know, cultural landmine of my own creation, because I'm not, you know, right? Like my only experience. So I grew up went to high school in Glendale, California, and it had a high Armenian population. So I don't know. I think most of the religions, though, of the Armenians in Glendale were Christian. Okay, dude, let's go. Thank you, Eugene. Right? Dude, ball bad. Let's go, baby. We're getting closer. Oh, shit. 5. We're halfway there. So there were no real, like, I didn't have any contact with any Muslims in high school. And then I went to UCLA and I joined a fraternity that was a Jewish fraternity. So I was the only non-Jewish guy. There were 2 of us in a Jewish fraternity. So in college, I got a crash course into like, you know, Judaism and the culture of Israeli people around Judaism. And that was my first exposure to that head of the Abrahamic religion dragon, right? And it was a while before that, or a while after that, before I encountered Muslim people. Let's go, Peter! Oh shit, let's go, baby! You know what I'm saying? And so that has been super, like, I don't know. I'm still learning about, like, trying to educate myself on Islam. And you know, I've not known a lot of Muslims in my life, right? And I think part of it is because in America, there's like a lot of Islamophobia, at least the places that I lived, right? So I was an aerospace engineering major, believe it or not. And then I switched to econ business because of everyone in the fraternity. And then I switched to English creative writing because of me. And then I quit to play rock and roll, to learn how to play an instrument so I could play rock and roll. That's why I quit college. But I was an aerospace engineering major. I got accepted to UCLA and UC Berkeley. Those were the only two colleges I applied to. I got accepted to Berkeley for mechanical engineering and UCLA for aerospace. This was in 1987-88 school year. But I didn't go to Berkeley because I was poor and I was afraid to be that far from home. Like I was afraid to take a big move like that, right? So yeah, it was, you know, what language? I don't know. It's some Balkan language, right? And I think they speak a number of them, right? But like some Balkan or Slavic language. But yeah, the Armenian people was like, there was a real high population of them in Glendale, but they were like totally cool, man. They were just like different, you know, they had some different customs, right? I don't know. I don't know why everybody gets so like, I don't know. We get all spun out, right? We get all spun out about like these differences, right? But all right, here we go.
Now, this whole globalize intifada debacle isn't because Zoran Mamdani is going around saying globalize intifada. That is a myth. This all stemmed from an interview he did this month, in fact, on The Bulwark. These are a bunch of Never Trump Republicans who clearly are not fans of his. And he was asked about the phrase globalize the intifada. He described it as a symbolic call for Palestinian human rights, not for violence or anti-Semitism. So in other words, even though he didn't say it, The Bulwark was trying to get him to condemn that phrase, and he didn't condemn it. He explained what it was, and that's what's led to this whole debacle. By the way, the definition of the term intifada, which was published by Drop Site News, is as follows.
Yeah, see, Tim Miller, I am like, I don't know, dude. I'm on the fence about Tim Miller, right? I've made a video about him, and from what I see of Tim Miller, he does appear to be a bit of a cool dude, but I also feel like he has very different politics than me, and he's using the extremism of Trump to try and sell the center-right politics into the left-wing realm, and I don't really like that. I want America to be moving further left and not being dragged into some center-right quagmire simply because Trump is so extreme, right? I think he's very smart and I want to like him, but I don't entirely trust him because he's not a lefty. He's a Republican, and he's somebody who merely didn't like the extremism of Trump, but he reminds me a little bit of like a smarter version of Cenk Uygur, where he's not, you know, he's communing with leftists, but he's doing it in a way that is trying to sell his own center-right vision to people, which, I mean, everybody's doing that. We're all selling something, right? But so I don't dislike him. I just don't really trust him, right? Because of course here, you know, he's, you know, on the, like trying to attack this democratic socialist because again, those guys that sit in the middle, They just don't want, they don't want significant change, okay? They're wealthy. They're usually white. Many of them are men. And so they're in a situation where this system right now, even though it's broken, even though it sucks, even though it grinds up some people with civil rights, the system works for them, okay? They're staying wealthy. They're staying privileged. They're staying powerful. And what happens is they can advocate for the world they want. And if they don't get it and the Republican evangelicals win, they make more money. So they're not incentivized to really do anything significant to change the system to help the people down on the bottom. And I find that a little bothersome, right? I find that segment of liberal, moderately conservative, left-leaning Republican or right-leaning Democrat, those guys in the center, they're all like, they benefit from both sides of that capitalist, like white culture. It just benefits them, and they stay rich and they stay successful. And even when they're a mouthpiece for like, yeah, let's get Medicare for all, they don't need it. They don't care if they never get it, right? They don't, like, inside, because they're fine. They're set. And, and if they do lose and Trump wins, oh shit, then they get a fucking tax cut, right? But so I do like him, but I also don't like him. Right? You know what I mean? I'm like, he's good. It's weird though, because there is one element of him that I do like, where he seems a little bit like me in a way, that he's like smart, but he's also a little like not as educated, polished appearing, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll show up in a baseball cap and he's a little bit like, he's not one of those people who walks around like they're an Ivy Leaguer. You know what I mean? And that I like. But yeah, no, it's hard though. But I did make a video about him. Dude, he's no way, dude. Tim Miller's gay? Nah, really? Is he really gay? There's no way, dude. Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh shit, bro. Dude, now that's gonna make me see him in a whole new light, dude. I didn't know. Dude, oh, crazy, bro. Oh, let's go. All right. Now I'm gonna have to recontextualize him, boss. That just threw a wrench.
Arabic for uprising or shaking off has historically referred to a wide spectrum of resistance. The first intifada between 1987 to 1993 was driven by mass boycotts, general strikes, student protests, and civil disobedience. It was largely nonviolent in its early stages. Many supporters of the slogan say Globalize the Intifada draws from that legacy, a call for international solidarity through protest, divestment, and organized resistance to apartheid, occupation, and genocide, not violence.
Okay, see, here's the thing. Here's why I don't like this shit, okay? Because yes, globalize the intifada, right? The first intifada was boycotts, strikes. It was like BLM, protests, right? Civil disobedience. Now, can you imagine a world where 8 years from now, they ask a fucking Democratic candidate, are you willing to denounce BLM? And they're like, why would I denounce BLM? Because, well, we've decided BLM now means violence and burning cities and all that shit the right-wingers think. And all of a sudden, they're making demands of every Democratic candidate has to denounce BLM in order to run for office. Dude, that's fucking bullshit. Like, this is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This is BS, dude. That this is getting lumped on, because we know this is the same shit. Dude, the way my YouTube channel got monetized was that Hassan appearance on Piers Morgan with the British guy and the woman who was it Emily, who kept showing the pictures of like the dude with no hand or whatever on her phone. No, it was way back. It was a year ago. There was a British guy and Hassan, and then that Emily chick. And Hassan and Emily went back and forth. And the whole time, Piers Morgan was trying to get Hassan to say, do you condemn, right? Do you condemn October 7th? Do you condemn October 7th? That was like, it was all he did was like sit there and Hassan was like, dude, I fucking condemned that shit like 100 times. Like, why get past that? There's so much more to deal with that's not that. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's fucking nonsense. All right.
But there is ongoing opposition to that perspective. As The Hill reports, many pro-Israel activists and many Jewish people view the phrase as calling for violence against Jews, referencing the first and second intifadas that took place in the 1980s and 90s and 2000s, during which Palestinians in both Palestinian territories and Israel engaged in uprising in which significant violence occurred, and many on both sides were killed. So, look, there have been cases of violence, including, cafe bombings and things like that. I don't want to minimize that, but at the same time, the lies about how Zoran Mamdani is going around saying globalized intifada is driving me crazy, because that's not what he's saying.
Yeah, no, he didn't say that at all. I'll show you the video that I was talking about. The Hassan one was this, right? If we go back to my oldest, it was like the 5th video I made or whatever. It was this one. Right? This one.
So James Barr. Well, Emily, I mean, on one level, I guess it was quite funny, but on another level, I didn't like what she did to Alec Baldwin. I've got no truck for Alec Baldwin whatsoever.
Remember this one?
I think violence against civilians is justified.
Right? Remember this
about
chick?
October 7 on this very same show, saying that it was a tragedy.
Emily Austin.
Atrocities that occurred on October 7 specifically.
But dude, this one 1 year ago, I got monetized by this one video, bro. Look at how different I look. Crazy, dude. Holy shit, I look different, boss. Right? Look at me. I'm a young pup back then. Still had the acting like Tommy sign. Oh, yeah. Dude, and then at one point, this guy said something and Hassan is like, who the fuck are you? Why are you even on this show, dude? Oh, man. Oh, shit. Dude, yeah, there's a lot of Tommies, bro. That's a lot of Tommies happening. But, all right.
Yeah, he never said it. So a couple things. So first, the bulwark is anti-Trump neocons.
Yes.
And a lot of people have bought into, oh, well, as long as they're anti-Trump. No, neocons want endless wars in the Middle East. They wanted a further war in Iran. Please care about policy. Like, it's so easy to trick people these days just being pro or anti-Trump, right? Oh, I am anti-Trump. That is why we should do tax cuts for the rich. Wait, what? I am anti-Trump. That's why we should go to war in Iran on behalf of Israel. Wait, what?
Dude, TYT is like, they're all over the fucking map, bro. They seem to have no moral center, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They have no moral center except for like anti-Israel. That's the only like center that this channel fucking communes around. Like, what is he even talking about? Please be pro-policy? Bro, like Cenk thinks he's the only motherfucker on the planet who like thinks about policy, dude. God. Yeah, no, he doesn't require perfection from Maga, not at all. But those neocons, right? The neocons are worse than the Nazis to this fucking fool.
What?
Jesus.
No, care about policy, right? So now, when you get to this is 100% propaganda. Because they're saying, I'm not just gonna criticize him for something he said, I'm gonna criticize him for something he didn't say. And do you think people get that? No. Right now, if you ask the average American that listened to any of this coverage, they would all think that he actually said globalized intifada, because they're all asking him about it as if he said it, right?
All right, so let's see. We're gonna do this. We have the clip. Thank you, Natalie. Here's the clip about the global intifada. You ready? All right, we're going in, guys. We're gonna put him under the gun. Let's see what we got here. It's good lighting though, Tim. All right, dude. Now I can't unsee Tim as the gay man, dude. I don't understand gay Republicans though, bro. That is some shit that just doesn't make any sense to me. Dude, somebody try to explain to me what the fucking, how gay Republicans happen, right? Tell me that is not a miracle of fucking, right? It's the neon from the fucking flamingo is throwing a little pink sheen on there. It is. It's the pink. It's good lighting, isn't it? Dude, that pink, it's nice. I mean, you see me. I got the pink, baby. I roll with some pink. But dude, the gay Republicans, I just don't get. Dude, yeah. But dude, I just don't get it, man. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand.
Close it out. All right. So we get to the Israel. We mentioned the Islamophobia. Obviously, we also have to be worried about the uptick in anti-Semitism. And there's one thing in particular that frustrates me when talking with folks on the left, and that is like downplaying this conversation about how there obviously is anti-Semitism on the right, but there's anti-Semitism coming from the left and coming from these protests. And one example I think of is this phrase, globalize the intifada, which is a very popular phrase at protests on the left. And maybe some people say that phrase with good intent, but there's certainly some people who are saying that phrase with violent intent. So I wonder what you think about that, about the phrase globalize the intifada and what we've seen as some anti-Semitism coming from the left-wing protesters.
I think the first thing, as you were saying, is anti-Semitism is a real issue in our city. And it's one that can be captured in statistics, the ones that you're citing. It's also one that you will feel in conversations you have with Jewish New Yorkers across the city. And I remember one conversation I had with a friend of mine after the horrific war crime of October 7th. He was telling me that he went for Shabbat services at his temple and he was facing forward when he heard the door open, and he turned back with a chill going up his spine because he didn't know who was coming in. And that's more than a year ago. And then just a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with a Jewish man in Williamsburg who told me that the same door he would keep unlocked for decades is one that he now locks out of a fear of what could happen in his own neighborhood. And I think that this is something that has to be the focus of the next mayoral administration, is not just talking about it, but tackling it. And these are the conversations that have informed our commitment around increasing funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800% in our Department of Community Safety. And to the question of language that's being used, I am someone who I would say am less comfortable with the idea of banning the use of certain words, and that I think it is more evocative of a Trump-style approach to how to lead a country. And I think especially when we've seen...
Sure, but like, does that just make you uncomfortable? Like the phrase globalized intifada, from the river to the sea, does that make you uncomfortable? Or do you think...
Okay, those are different. Those are super different.
They're not really.
Like different genres.
I'm sorry, I'm asking Zoran. Then they're not really different to me. And to some people, they're not.
See, it's really interesting because you see the guy that just piped in there. Oh, wait a minute. Those are different. Those are different. Those are different genres. When I saw the text of this, they had those words attributed to Zoran, which is really interesting. That guy is like some assistant or something of Tim's, but like those words were next to Zoran's name when I read this in a text thing, which is pretty fucking, that's a little sketchy that shit's going out like that.
You know, I know people for whom those things mean very different things. And to me, ultimately, what I hear in so many is a desperate desire for equality and equal rights in standing up for Palestinian human rights. And I think what's difficult also is that the very word has been used by the Holocaust Museum when translating the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising into Arabic, because it's a word that means struggle.
Sure.
And as a Muslim man who grew up post 9/11, I'm all too familiar in the way in which Arabic words can be twisted, can be distorted, can be used to justify any kind of meaning.
Yep.
And I think that's where it leaves me with a sense that what we need to do is focus on keeping Jewish New Yorkers safe, and the question of the permissibility of language is something that I haven't ventured into.
All right, Cameron, close us out. Good twink. Give him something nice.
While we're on
He said good twink.
I want to do 2 quick hot takes. This is a new segment called Hot Takes with Cam.
All right, so there we go. So I mean, dude, first off, there was no glorification of by Zoran. There was no glorification. Oh my God, look at Jank, dude. Oh shit, bro, I gotta screen cap that, dude. That one's too good, dude. Dude, Janky. Oh shit. Oh my God, dude, the best pause game. But so he didn't glorify globalize the Intifada. He talked about how that term means struggle and was even used by the Holocaust Museum. That like, okay, now you have this thing that's like not a negative connotation, but some people are using it to mean like, hey, we are now going to have a worldwide effort for the plight of the Palestinians and a change in how the world feels about the constant oppression that's going on in the Middle East based, you know, from Netanyahu's government and from other, you know, far right governments in Israel. And so like, we're not going to lose that because of some negative people that are trying to adopt this language for something else, right? And so the fact that, you know, I just think it's really interesting because the Muslim man is being held accountable for any bad faction that's it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like Donald Trump, the white guy, can get on stage in a presidential campaign and use the words of Hitler verbatim, right? And they can do the racist shit at Madison Square Garden, and everybody's like, oh, whoopsie, right? But the Muslim guy, it's like, you must answer for every bad Muslim act that has ever existed in the whole fucking world. You have to answer for it. You have to condemn it. You have to make it right. And like, that is the problem right there. That is what happens with Islamophobia. That is what happens with racism. That is what happens with anti-Semitism, with all of that shit where they're holding one person accountable, right? Because he's of them, right? It's like all of them are him. And that's bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's bullshit. Okay? It is. It is like bullshit. And like, we need to realize that. Like we need to realize like we're doing that. Cause I think a lot of us, like, I honestly don't think Tim Miller, he might not even see it, right? He might not even see what he's doing because he thinks he's defending Jewish people, right? And he's just not seeing it. You know, I think a lot of people don't fucking see this. And let me just tell you though, guys, okay? I have been on a journey, like ridding myself of what I discovered was programmed Islamophobia. Not something that I ever consciously even thought about, but growing up in America, being a young man around when the Ayatollah Khomeini took over Iran and the hostage situation during Jimmy Carter's presidency, and then 9/11, and then the way that the Middle East is dealt with here in America, I've discovered that my whole life I was programmed to not trust Arabs and Muslims. It's like inner American programming. It's part of the like Christian collateral damage of Christianity in America. And it got really severe here. It's like even this idea of like when something goes on, the tendency to call it a terrorist attack while not calling it a terrorist attack if it were our people doing the same thing here, Americans doing the same thing, right? Like we don't look at the atrocities that happen in Vietnam as Americans being terrorists in Vietnam, right? And so to believe it or not, guys, you know what has helped me is I have a 20-year-old kid who helped me. Like, we had many nights where we sat in the kitchen talking till like 6 a.m. And he was like, Dad, you don't understand. Like, you are fucking programmed. Like, I am growing. He's like, Dad, I'm growing up in a post 9/11 world where I grew up seeing Islamophobia, seeing it play out in front of us. And you didn't see that. Like, you don't even see it. You don't see it. And that's it. Like, it took me a lot of time to see what Islamophobia looked like in me, in America, in my programming. I just didn't even see it. It was like so ingrained that it was like, no, I'm not, I don't have any Islamophobia. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand them or whatever. But no, man, we've been programmed with it. Like, programmed. There's a huge bias. Like, a huge bias here. And you know, and because like, and part of it was a lack of cultural context. Like for me, other than this Iranian woman that I had a fling with, you know, right around the time I made my first album in the 90s, I didn't have a lot of contact with Middle Eastern people, really, for most of my life, man. And I didn't even realize it. You know, it's crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy, like the bias we hold. And all right, oh shit, we're halfway. All right, let's go. Dude, dance party, it's happening. I can feel it. I can feel it, baby. I think it's unfortunate, though, because I looked at the goal and a whole bunch of people did stickers, but I think it only does it only counts super chats, so none of the stickers counted. I feel like we're being robbed. So even if we miss the goal, I think I might do the dance party anyway, because I think it robbed us. Dude, oh my God, dude. Jesus, Elf just went crazy. Oh, let's go. Oh. Oh! 90s album? It was my band Soul Driver. Yeah, my first record that I made was in like 1996. I think it came out. That was the first full-length record I ever did with a band called Soul Driver. Dude, Elf, let's go. We're getting 2 Donnies for that. Dude, that is crazy. Oh, shit. 20 more minutes? All right. I'll go fast. I'm gonna cram everything into 20 minutes. All right? Oh. But yeah. Well, and you know what's wild, guys, is thinking about it. When I look back at my life, if I say honestly, I had the same programming. Like, I had different shades of programming for like people of color, for, you know, Muslims, Arabs, women, right? Asian people, people from India or Pakistan or that region. Social butterfly, let's go. No, we are not getting robbed. You know what I mean? And it's like, what's so crazy about it, okay, is that I've had to detangle that. And some of it detangled easier, right? Like I had experiences from little on with people in the Black community. So that detangled more, and the women's stuff detangled more, but some of those groups didn't detangle as well. And I'm still sort of figuring it out. And so, yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. And what's wild is, having lived for a little bit in Wisconsin in a town of 3,000 people, what is wild about it is the people that live in those towns, the people that live in middle American, like red-pilled 3,000, 5,000, 8,000 person towns, they don't even see the bias. They have no idea. They have very little contact with anyone of another race, unless it's like shit they're seeing on a Facebook timeline. They are heavily programmed in the way that you are accepted socially in those environments where the pressures to conform in a town of 3,000 people are so crazy. Like it's life or death, because what happens is those people will get a reputation in high school as like a liar or a drunk or a womanizer or unreliable. And then that haunts them for the rest of their fucking lives. They're trying to shake off whatever reputation they got when they were like 16. And so they spend their whole life like essentially in penance with the community, trying to somehow outdistance themselves from that high school reputation. And they do it through conformity, and it's pretty gross. It's like soul crushing. It is like soul crushing, and you can see it. We moved to LA, and I remember going back when I was like 20, right? I went back to Wisconsin. We went to Riverfest in Watertown, and I went out at night and played pool, and I would gamble with the carnies. I'm a pretty good billiards player, right? So I would go out and play pool with the carnies and try to win some money and, you know, have an adventure. And like, man, the people in town, like you could walk into a bar and you could just see the people, like they had their head in their hands in a way that is like, you don't really see it in the big city. There's a particularly soul crushing like blanket that is on top of these people that for them to even see how connected their bias is like, man, it's hard. It's going to be hard to crack. Like, I don't know how you crack that open. You know what I'm saying? Because you do have to identify it, but there is a particular type of rural small town depression that is so like it just exterminates people's like hope. You know what I'm saying? It exterminates their belief in a better tomorrow. Like there's just not a lot of hope in those people, right? You know, there's like a serious lack of hope.
And so this is the same trick that mainstream media did with Iraq and 9/11. They would keep using Iraq and 9/11 in the same sentence, and then they would later say, well, I didn't say they did 9/11. I said they came from the same general vicinity as the people who did 9/11.
Right.
It was meant to trick you into thinking Iraq did 9/11. This is meant to trick you into thinking that Mamdani is a terrorist supporter, right? And so they say intifada can only mean violence. Well, actually the people who use it sometimes mean that, and a lot of times they don't mean that. They mean an uprising politically, diplomatically, etc. But whenever they say a political uprising, you yell at them and call them terrorists. So there's no winning. There's no winning. You can't oppose Israel in any way, shape, or form. And even if you do, and you've used all the right words, they're gonna blame you for words you didn't use because they're the bottom of the barrel.
See, that's another thing that I don't get is it appears to me when you look at the governments, right? When you look at the governments and the regimes in the Middle East, it appears to me that Saudi Arabia and Qatar are like some of the worst ones, but they're also the ones that get the most like American hand jive, right? Where like they don't like Iran, right? You know what I mean? It's like the Shia battle, right? But they've sort of somehow found, you know, Qatar and right, the Sunni Shia battle, and somehow like, you know, Saudi Arabia and Qatar are like some of the worst regimes, but they're like the good ones. And it's like, yeah, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? It's weird because they've, you know, they've sort of buy their way in. And, you know, I mean, of course, Iran has been under sanctions and shit, and everybody else has, you know, been battling and shit. But like, dude, yeah, you know, I mean, if you went back and looked at the World Trade Centers, like most of the funding for that shit went through Saudi Arabia. And then what did we do? We went and sat in Afghanistan for 20 fucking years. And now Saudi Arabia is like besties with Trump. And after they bone-sawed a journalist, they gave $2 billion to Kushner. And like everybody's like, you know, and we just are all of a sudden, you know, people want to hate Iran for, you know, 9/11. It's like, dude, they had nothing to do with that. Like, what are you even talking about? I mean, mostly my understanding of Iran is they just want to be left alone. They want to be able to have their country and not worry about people invading them or threatening them with fucking demolition if they, you know, have a nuclear power plant or whatever. They literally just want to be like, leave us the fuck alone, please. Leave us out of all of this. Let us just fucking do our thing. You know what I mean? And, you know, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
And everyone who's engaging in this is doing it to try to smear Mamdani on behalf of Israel.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with humanitarian or anti-Semitism or bigotry. Well, if they were worried about that, then how come they never asked about the words Greater Israel, Eretz Israel, Judea and Samaria? These are all words that people use when they're saying Israel should wipe out Muslims and take their land. Those words are 10,000 times worse because they're doing it. It's not theoretical. They're actually wiping out Muslims and actually taking their land.
See, I disagree with this sentiment though, because I don't think the Americans are doing it for Israel. Okay. I think the Americans are doing it because of Christianity, because Christianity like sees Israel as a tool. Okay. Christianity sees Israel as a powerful tool to bring about the rapture and to bring about the domination of Christianity across the world, right? I don't think it's really necessarily defending Israel per se. I don't think they care about Israel either. You know what I mean? They're literally just like, they want to have the tool over there to be doing Christianity's dirty work. You know what I'm saying? And then of course the politicians are, it's like money for sure. But you know, because like, dude, the Christians are in America, they're not as in love with Israel as everybody thinks. Israel is just like, you know, it's like they're hanging out with somebody who will do their dirty work for them, you know what I mean? And you know, dude, yeah, shit is fucking, dude, it's crazy. But Cenk and Anna though, this is their prime directive right now. They have two main messages. If you take everything that Cenk and Anna say in any place, on any show, in any type of propaganda situation, they have two trigger points. Point number one for Cenk and Anna is that the Democrats are bad. They're as bad as the Republicans. They're worse than the Republicans. Okay, the Democrats are bad. And number two is Israel. Their Israel is bad. That's their two trigger points. But what's hard about it though is I want to believe they're talking about like Netanyahu and the imperialist Israeli machine, but sometimes I don't have a lot of clarity about that, because sometimes it feels like they bear a lot of resentment for the Israeli people too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get a little confused about that too. Like, I know they're talking about the government, but like, it feels like it runs a little deeper. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is here. You know, there's I don't know. I mean, again, I don't trust Cenk or Anna, right? I don't trust them because they are disruptors. They are bullshit artists. Okay, they are grifters to the fucking max, boss.
But words that are used, and Netanyahu literally said, from the river to the sea, we're gonna have all of it, right? But the mainstream media in America never once asked anyone, did you use that word? Do you condemn those words? Because being genocidal in favor of Israel, perfectly acceptable. But like thinking that Palestinians might be human. Oh, how dare you? So they're all going to smear you. And notice it's
Dude,
not.
there's his fucking, oh, how dare you? He's so fake, bro. When he you know what I'm saying? He's so fake when he does that shit.
Just Republicans. It's mainly Democrats that are smearing him.
I want to go to the photo of Mamdani and his wife to show you just how extremist they are. These are the extremists that, corporate Democrats, Republicans are trying to fearmonger about. Extremists usually don't have wives who dress as modern as his wife does in that photo. Obviously, he is not an extremist at all.
Yeah, dude, they're not they're not emanating Sharia vibes right there, dude. Dude, his wife is a good dresser, man. She's fashionable.
But there's an effort to paint him as an extremist because he has been critical of Israel's genocide in Gaza, and more importantly, because of his economic policies. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, see, I really wanted I know that some of this Muslim, the Islamophobia and the Intifada, all this bullshit is taking center stage. But believe it or not, I believe the deep root of the swell of all sides attacking Mamdani has to do with those policies, has to do with the fact that socialism working in America, in any city, in any major government, especially a city as complicated as New York, if socialism works there, it's gonna burn like a wildfire across this fucking country. And I think the powers that be are real scared of that. I mean, think about how much warring and how many weapons and how much fucking rat fucking we did in South America and Cuba to undermine every form of socialist government that tried to take root on this continent, right? On both continents here, they are desperate, okay? And I mean, if you look at it for the millionaires, it's like a $20,000 tax bill, right? If you're a millionaire, would have a $20,000 increase in taxes. You know what I mean? Dude, it's like nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing, or right? Or $40,000 tax increase, whatever. On $1 million, dude, $40,000 is nothing, right? If you make $100,000, right? It'd be, what would it be? It's 2%, right? So 10% is 200,000. So 1% is 20,000. 10% of $1 million is 100,000. So it would be $20,000 on $1 million income, like the tax increase to pay for childcare and the free buses. Dude, that's not a lot of money. Man, it's like $2,000 if you're paying $100,000 a year, right? If I'm paying $100,000 a year, I have to pay an extra $2,000 for childcare, dude, for free childcare. But of course, the wealthy people aren't going to use the free childcare. They're going to continue paying for their fancy childcare. So what it really comes down to is the wealthy people, they only want to do charity when it's their charity, when they're choosing who receives it. Okay? Wealthy people, it's not even about paying the money. They'll pay that money to charity. It's about the control. Okay? Wealthy people don't like their money going to minorities or groups of people that they don't approve of. They want to only do charity when it's like them putting the money exactly where they want to put it, And dude,
The reason why corporate media is doing a terrible job in covering him and essentially allowing, smear merchants like Eric Adams to run their mouths is because they hate the economic policies that Mamdani champions. That's what this is really about. And I want to talk a little more about Islamophobia. And in fact, call out someone that I have the displeasure of hosting a show with.
Here we go.
Her name's Lindy Lee. So I want to go to that video next because.
Oh, dude, this is intriguing. How is she going to square this? Because Ann is about to call out Lindy Lee, right? And we're going to watch that. We're going to watch that in a little bit, her take. So she's now going to call out Lindy Lee for Islamophobia. But dude, she's yucking it up. like, I hate to say this, but if you sit on that show and you yuck it up, you've already hung out, Anna, with 𝗙𝗍𝗶, Islamophobia, racist, white supremacist, Proud Boy, right? Oath Keeper, like, who you hanging out with on this show? And now you're Lindy Lee, right? Lindy Lee is the Joe Biden donor who flipped the day of the election to be a Trumpy, and now she disavows all like things Democrat, and she's one of her co-hosts on the, she's a grifter extraordinaire on the Her Take podcast. See, at this point though, how can Anna be on that show and they're monetizing her like drama with Lindy Lee? Like, dude, you got to figure it out, Anna.
On Her Take last Friday, here's what she had to say about Mamdani. Let's take a look.
I am absolutely stunned that the city that is famous for being terrorized by Islamic terrorists is on the cusp of electing Islamic extremists who is chanting globalized intifada.
Dude, what the fuck is she saying? He's not an Islamic extremist. He's never chanted globalized intifada. She's reading. She, like, PBD wrote this. Dude, Vinny wrote this in a fucking, like a whiskey haze or some shit. Like, what kind of propaganda is this? See, this is the problem I have, okay? Because Anna calling this out is so fraudulent because Anna's allowing her, like, notoriety to sell this goddamn show. Anna's selling this fake propaganda bullshit. And yeah, this woman is, like, insane, bro. She is a grifter, but she's reading shit off a fucking cue card. And Anna's using her political notoriety to sell this woman to fucking unsuspecting people.
Intifada as its mayor. That for me is just jaw-dropping. This is 24 years after 9/11.
I'm just curious, is there a day you wake up where you don't see terrorism everywhere? Because you literally just implied that this guy's a terrorist, and I found that bigoted, Islamophobic, and absolutely disgusting. If you don't like his policies, I can understand that, and we can have a discussion about those policies. But it seems like you just have a problem with the fact that he's Muslim.
Good night, babe. All right, dude, now, here's the thing. Is Anna is fake, okay? Anna's a grifter too. Anna's using her notoriety to sell this bullshit show. But I will say that in the matchup between Anna and, dude, let's go. Chris Birch, let's go, baby. Dude, in the matchup between Anna and Lindy Lee, like, Lindy Lee does not have a chance. Right? Like, Lindy Lee she's dumb. She's not smart. She's like a grifter royale, but like Anna's gonna fucking eat this woman alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like Donald Trump going up against fucking, Mamdani, right? Dude, Lindy Lee, she went to Princeton. I don't know how she went to Princeton. That's surprising, but I guess I'll chalk it up to you getting good grades or whatever, or getting through college isn't necessarily connected to intelligence. But all right, here we go. Let's see it. I want to see the whole thing here. Oh shit, dude. Yeah, see, I have real issues though, guys. I have real issues with this. I have real issues with this fake shit though. Where Anna says, I want to call out Lindy Lee's bigotry, but it's like, Anna, you're selling Lindy Lee's bigotry. You're working for a bigot named PBD to sell bigoted propaganda to people with your progressive notoriety, okay? You're literally taking the world that you built politically to sell propaganda to people, and now you want to act like you get some, I'm standing up to this bigoted woman. No, you're platforming this bigoted woman. Lindy Lee wouldn't have nearly the reach if it wasn't for you, 𝗙𝗍𝗶. Like, you're helping give this woman reach, fucking bullshit.
After 9/11.
I'm just curious, is there a day you wake up where you don't see terrorism everywhere? Because you literally just implied that this guy's a terrorist, and I found that bigoted, Islamophobic, and absolutely disgusting. If you don't like his policies, I can understand that, and we can have a discussion about those policies. But it seems like you just have a problem with the fact that he's Muslim. You have a problem with the fact that he looks a little different from other previous leaders. Don't interrupt me, I'm still speaking, I didn't interrupt you. Listen, the problem with that mayoral race is that the Democratic candidates who ran against him in the primary offered nothing. They offered nothing but the status quo. By the way, the progressive who ran in the primary has decided to endorse Mamdani and happens to be a Jewish American. So
yeah, that's Brad Lander, right? That's Brad. Isn't it Brad Lander that she's talking about right there? Dude, Lindy fucking Lee is like, bro, those guys, that show is so fucking despicable.
Allegations that Mamdani is like some Muslim extremist who hates Jews is utterly ridiculous. And by the way, Cenk, I noticed that Lindy Lee changed her tone a little bit when it comes to Mamdani when you were debating her on Piers Morgan's show today. Let's take a quick look at that.
Cenk, I just want to say my opposition to him has nothing at all to do with...
Dude, look at this panel, bro. Can we just take a minute to take in this panel? Look at what we've got, dude. We got Piers Morgan. Dude, look at the fucking pause game, bro. Cenk, this is Cenk's fucking prison photo. We got Piers Morgan, Cenk Uygur, Geraldo, and fucking Lindy fucking Lee. Like, oh my God. I mean, what's crazy is like Geraldo is like the winner of these guys. How did Geraldo become the most like legitimate person on a panel? Oh my God, dude. Like, Geraldo is literally the most legitimate person on this fucking panel. That is frightening. Dude, I'm waiting for crackhead Barney to like show up. Oh my God. Dude, I watched that Al Capone's Vault show. I watched it live. I was there for the whole thing, dude. I was so pissed. At the end when there was nothing in there, I was like, dude, what a fucking setup. But dude, look at I got to screenshot this, bro. This is insane, dude. This is fucking the Motley Crew, dude. Oh, Lord. That is fucking wild, boss. Oh. All right, here we go.
Take a quick look at that.
Cenk, I just want to say my opposition to him has nothing at all to do with Israel or his faith. That it's nothing. It's to do with his Marxist ideology. And I have to say, I feel sick to my stomach because of it. I was born in an authoritarian communist regime that murdered my great-grandfather in cold blood. Right. So anything that reeks of communism.
Yeah, that murdered your great-grandfather that she never fucking met, and she never like had any contact with him. So she's nursing some wound against Marxism from an unseen entity, right? And now everybody who wants to have free healthcare is a Marxist because, of course, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That like free buses means you're a Marxist? Really? Like, dude, come on, bro.
Just sends shivers down my spine.
I have yet to host any show with Lindy Lee where she doesn't bring up her personal experiences and what happened to her grandparents at the hands of the Chinese Communist Party. But nonetheless, she's ignorant, she's Islamophobic, and I find her embarrassing. Cenk, back to you.
Okay, so
can I just show you something though, guys? Those of you who haven't seen this, let me show you what Lindy Lee was 6 months ago. Or 8 months ago. You want to see Lindy Lee 8 months ago? Now she's like talking about Marxism and shit. Watch this, guys. You ready? This is going to blow your mind because this was Lindy Lee in August of last year. Hold on. She was a big donor for Joe Biden. You ready? Watch this. Here we go. Watch this.
She is now able to galvanize young people in states that were formerly completely out of play. Michigan is back. Young people who were disenchanted or completely tuned out are back. The energy behind her has been absolutely phenomenal. I don't remember this level of excitement since I was a kid cheering for Senator Obama. This is just truly incredible. And just for some perspective, it took me a year essentially to raise 1.1 million for President Biden. It took me a week to raise 2 million for Kamala Harris. So this is astounding and completely unprecedented.
Isn't that crazy? Dude, she's like, I haven't felt about Kamala Harris this way since Obama. This is this is an intifada of sorts, you could say. Right? Oh shit. That, like, my God, unprecedented, astounding. And then the day of the election, she was like, I'm an immigrant. Dude, you ready? Hold on, let me find it. The day of the election, you ready? Watch this. You gotta see this. It is crazy. Let me find the one. I believe it's right here.
They're doing everything they can now.
All right, here, watch this.
Is loving the fact that Donald Trump's going to be the next president.
Really?
He's really
shift. We tend to think of big tech, especially in
find
financial. Of big tech, especially in financial.
Watch, I'm going to find you the exact spot because you got to see this. This is the day after the election. Okay, watch this. You heard what she said about Kamala. Watch this the day after the election. Ready? All right, here we go. Watch this. Here it is.
I don't think it's just the business world. I think it's across the country. People are fed up and they realize that Biden and Harris, they lied to us for the past 4 years about the cognitive state of our president, and they failed on immigration. The expiration of Title 42 was the original sin. Millions of migrants poured into the country, and I am a naturalized immigrant myself. I'm speaking as an immigrant. My family and I came here with $200. We never took a handout. We waited in line. We followed all the rules. So for immigrants like me who became naturalized Americans, proud and grateful Americans, it's extremely upsetting that people are just flooding into the country willy-nilly.
So look at that. So now, the day after the election, she's been mad at them the whole time. Now, yes, there's one more thing I got to show you, and that is Lindy Lee on the election night. Watch this, because she said the cognitive decline. Well, let me show you Lindy Lee on the election night. Watch this tweet. Let me see if I can find it. Right here. She tweeted this the night of the debate. After the debate. Remember when Biden was like shell-shocked? She tweeted, I was with President Biden a few minutes after the debate tonight. Here we are at his watch party. He was amazing and kind, as he always is, remembering tiny details about me and my family. I don't care what the pundits say about this great man. I will always be Team Biden. So on the day of the debate, the night of the debate afterwards, she said, he is so sharp. He's not in cognitive decline. He's remembering tiny details about me and my family. Isn't that amazing, though? You see what what we're dealing with these people? Like, bro, professional grifter, like fucking... Like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right.
As on Piers, she also then went back to, mentioning his Muslim background. Rudy Giuliani was vicious about his Muslim background. And they just keep saying things that aren't true, that he said globalized intifada or that he supports Hamas. They're just smearing him because he's Muslim, period. You have issues with his economic policies, that's totally worthy of a debate. There's no problem with that at all. Okay, stick to economics. Let's have a real discussion and a debate about whether we should do, government-run grocery stores or rent control, etc. That's the most legitimate thing in the world. Just going after him, and the thing that bothers me, and by the way, I tore into Rudy after he said all those anti-Muslim things. And he came back. He was the one-on-one guest. He came back for the panel just to say, like, what happened? I thought we were friends. I'm like, no, brother, wrong again, Bob. No, if we agree on an issue, great. When we disagree on an issue, I'm gonna take your head off, okay? And so that's how it works. This you don't get to say those terrible things and get away with it, 100%. Right? And so they can't help themselves. And the great irony, guys, is that they're like, we're so worried about bigotry against Jews. So under the guise of anti-Semitism, fighting anti-Semitism, they're like, that's why we have to be bigoted towards Muslims.
See, the thing about this, though, is I know that Cenk and Anna are trying to navigate this as being the trustworthy ones and the ones that are telling you the truth. And we're pointing out the thing, we're being good journalists, but they're enablers, okay? Anna is on that show making money off her facing down with Lindy Lee. And she's got to know that whole show. Look at the guests, dude. The tampon guy was phony, Jack Posobiec. I mean, they have the worst guests, the biggest right pill, bigoted, anti-LGBTQ, anti-Muslim, you name it. Just the worst of the worst, like evangelical fucking Zionist bullshit associated with that show. They're all reading prepared shit off their laptops. The whole thing is just dog shit and propaganda. You know what I mean? And she's like she's being funded by that, And they're like doing the same thing. They're grifting off of it, right? Dude.
Like what? Okay, insane. No, you don't. You don't have to assume that every Muslim agrees with 9/11 or wants the Statue of Liberty to wear a burqa or is gonna pass Sharia law in Manhattan. Okay,
dude, nobody's passing Sharia law in Manhattan, dude. It's like, goddamn, bro. Dude, fucking clowns right there. There you go, dude. You want to donate to the Maga crowdfund? There we go. They're raising money for billionaires, dude. You can go to the Maga crowdfund address, fucking dumbfucks at fucking crowdfund.net. Right? If you want to donate to help the poor billionaires. I saw that. I thought that was pretty funny. Oh, shit. All right, dude, we've covered some good shit tonight, baby. Oh, let's go. All right, what do we got next? What have we covered? Oh, we should look at some of the OBB stuff, right? The one big beautiful bill. Have they finished the vote on that? Let's see what we got here, shall we? You got to think of the billionaires. So did they? They're still voting? Can't sleep over this bill? They're live. Is there something showing the vote count? I want to see the vote count. Oh shit. We had some sound for a minute.
On this vote, the yeas are 21, the nays are 79. The amendment is not agreed to.
Dude, look at Langford. Dude, some of these people are despicable, bro. Yeah, they're voting on all the amendments. And right? They're voting on all the amendments. And so, So yeah, that's Mike Lee's amendment. That's the Mike Lee, the public lands one. Fuck you, Mike Lee. Now, a lot of these amendments, again, are going to need 60 votes because they're dealing with discretionary spending. But here's my deal. You ready? I hate to say this, guys, but my thing about this is like, I get that we're fighting to prevent this bill, okay? And as we should, okay? But part of me feels like, you know, I don't know, if we lose the fight, which we may, and these Republicans take the little bribes they get and they sell us down the river, it's going to hurt. But also, like, fuck it. Let them destroy themselves politically. Like, let them. Right at the end of the Trump era, too. And because I don't think there's anything that's in this thing that can't, in some way, shape, or form, be undone. It's not like a Supreme Court decision. I feel like some of those Supreme Court decisions are going to be more problematic. And what's more, you ready for this? Some of the executive power is being expanded by this fucking rat fuckery that's happening with the Trump Supreme Court. That, if we can get the houses of Congress and the presidency back at some point with the right people, not Charles fucking Schumers and Hakeem Jeffries, but people with some balls, we can fucking be a fist right back at this shit. You know what I'm saying? Take that extra executive power to expand the Supreme Court, to fucking, you know, term limits on the Supreme Court, to fucking, you know, corral some of these bigger fucking, you know, bigger progressive policies that we want. I mean, we need to get somebody with some balls and somebody who's willing to harness that power and then use it right back on them. And tax the fucking churches, baby. Oh, yeah, let's go. Let's go, baby. Can somebody say cha-ching? Dude, Jesus, say cha-ching for me. Dude, Fetterman's got to be one of the most, like, disappointing politicians in the modern era, right? Because he sank somebody who was, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, he like sank somebody that was better than him, and then he turned out to be fucking like the worst kind of Joe Manchin possible.
Mr. Booker. Mr. Bozeman. Thank you.
Dude, it's 3 a.m, bro.
Mrs. Britt. Mr. Budd.
Mrs. Britt. Oh, there she is. Katie.
Cantwell.
You fucking weirdo.
Mrs. 𝗪𝗡𝗄. Mr. Cassidy. I got you. Ms. Collins.
Miss Collins. Jesus.
Mr. Coons.
Kitchen.
Mr. Cornyn. Ms. Cortez Masto. Mr. Cotton.
America needs Tommy. America's got Tommy. America's got a lot of Tommy, baby.
Mr. Kramer. Mr. Crapo. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Curtis. Mr. Daines. Ms. Duckworth. Mr. Durbin. Ms. Ernst. Mr. Fetterman. Mrs. Fisher. Mr.
Yeah.
Gallego.
So Bradshaw, is that the post I think it is about the America Party, right? This is the one. Yeah, right here. Right? So, well, it's not just this. There's this post, but there's more. Okay, watch this. There was another one. So this post, okay, this is earlier earlier today, or yesterday as it were, saying every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending immediately voted for the biggest debt increase should hang their head in shame, and they will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing on this earth. But he also leveraged another threat, okay, which is, now, see, here's the thing, though. You ready? Some of this, to me, rings pretty hollow, because it's like Elon fucking is the reason why this is happening. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to forget that. I'm not going to cry any tears or be like Elon, oh, Elon's now threatening to primary everyone. It's like, you dumb fuck. You're the reason why we're dealing with this shit. This is all you. You paid for this shit. You made this happen. And now you're like crying because they killed all the fucking clean energy. We knew they were going to kill the clean energy, you stupid ass. Like, dude, put down the crack pipe for like 2 fucking minutes, bro. Take the turkey baster out of your fucking penis and just pay attention for 1 second, right? But he did this other tweet, though, that was crazy, which is this one. You ready? This is the one that I was talking about, right? Which to me, you ready? Forget the primaries, okay? This would be intriguing right here. Where is it? Hold on, I'll find it. I know I marked it. Right here. Look at this. This was 2 hours after that one. Look at this post. He says, if this insane spending bill passes, the America Party will be formed the next day. Our country needs an alternative to the Democrat-Republican uniparty so that the people actually have a voice. Now, why do I say that I find this interesting? The America Party, okay? And you know why I find it interesting? Because I don't think the America Party would win, right? I don't. But I believe the America Party could siphon enough of both parties that a far left party in America could actually rise up. I think if he actually did this, the Democrats would think, oh, we're a shoo-in now. But it's like, no, we would use the opportunity to be like, fuck you to the Democrats. And everybody who's not those centrist, fucking Slotkin, fucking weirdo, centrist liberals, we would all pool together and fucking burn all of them, right? That, I don't think he's going to do it. I think it's, he's on a ketamine high. I think it would be too much work to actually create the America Party. But I think leftism could pay from a disruptor like that would split up a whole bunch of those people that are in the middle. I think that could actually be beneficial. Oh, shit, dude. We got 25 minutes left on the goal. All right, I'm doing the dance party anyway, but just a heads up. All right, we're gonna do the dance party because of all those stickers, but we need 3 $2 super chats to hit the goal. All right, and it doesn't matter. We're doing the dance party even if we don't. But I'm giving you heads up because I'm getting attacked by the YouTube algorithm at the moment. All right, so there you go. I'm doing my due diligence. I'm practicing for running for office, right? Dude. He's renaming the independents. Yeah, see, I don't think these would be independents actually though. I think these would be more like Tea Party conservatives, the America Party, because they would still be bigots. I feel like they would be the bigoted, sort of xenophobic people though, but the ones that have the conservative, oh shit, Citizen Morgan, let's go. Except it's only the super chats. I think not the stickers, but we fucking love that. We absolutely love it. And I'm counting that one. But so I think it's fucking, I don't think there's going to be real left wingers involved in this. You know what I'm saying? Andrew Yang tried to form a third party. Yeah, but Bradshaw, Andrew Yang didn't have any money. Okay? Yeah, that's just it. Like Andrew Yang, he had no money. Okay? Dude, Citizen Morgan, let's go. Oh, there we go. Oh, shit. We're giving a Trumpy for that. I'm getting ready for the dance party. But yeah, I think fucking this would be interesting. I think this would be, right? This would not be leftist, right? This party would fracture the Republican right wing. No way, dude. Brutus just gave 5 gifteds. Holy shit, Brutus. Let's go, dude. Let's fucking go, baby. Oh, Lord. Let's go. Oh, thank you for the gifteds. $2 $2. Oh, shit. We're 1 away. 1 away. We're going to get this dance party over now. I'm going to start getting prepped up. I know what's coming. Dude, let's go. The train is pulling up to the station. 9 to 10. Dude, we're already well over. I'm going to see next time if I can include stickers, right? Because I think that I feel like I got jacked. Stretch? Dude, I fucking started meditating again. Dude, Citizen Morgan, let's go. There it is. 10 to 10, baby. Goal achieved. Whoa. Let's fucking go. All right. Now, again, I can't really do fucking great music because of the YouTube thing, so we're going to have to do a song of mine, right? But it's a good song, all right? It's a good song. We'll rock it out. I guess I'll have to, dude, I'm trying to think of if I have something. Dude, let's go. Trying to think, maybe I can find a good Epidemic Sound song. Should I look for an Epidemic Sound song? I want something with a beat, dude. I don't really love the fucking beats on my shit, but let's see if we can find something here. Oh, wait, there was a song that I did save that I actually liked. Let me see if I can find it. That had words. Dude, how am I going to find this song? I don't know if it's going to be possible. I may be on a fucking I may be on a chase here that's not going to happen. Right? Because there are so many songs in this little save folder. I think I'm just going to use mine. Right? Wait, was this it? No, that's not it. Dude, some of the music on here is interesting. Yeah, well, I have Epidemic Sound, which is what I use in the videos, right? And I could look on Epidemic Sound and actually build like a good playlist. There's actually a lot of really good music on here. It's just a little hard to find it, but what I'm gonna do is I have several albums of really good shit that I'm going to get. Like I'm gonna get it released on this channel. But there is, let me see if I can find. There was one song that was actually pretty good that I had pulled off Epidemic Sound that's got a good beat with a woman singer. And I'm going to see if I can find that. It reminded me a little bit of like some good fucking pop music. But I'm going to see real quick if I can find this song. And if not, we're going to go with mine. Mary Had a Little Lambskin. All right. Dude, I'm down with that. You got to... Can we get the sign language version of that. Dude. Take the song selection so seriously. Yeah, well, it's like dancing is easier when it's with a good groove, right? It's just, and dude, a lot of my songs have good dance grooves, but the problem is the early EP that I have available, the one that's not on Apple Music and shit that I can play on the channel on YouTube currently, it doesn't have great beats. It's got a lot of those Bachman-Turner overdrive, like white boy fucking boom, boom, ch, boom, ch, boom, da, ch, beats, you know, that aren't really that, you know, and it was like the first EP I made as a solo artist, so there's not a lot of changes. And so, like, it's just not great for good dancing, you know? You know, I like to move my body, and it helps to have music with some groove. But we'll figure it out. I'm just going to invest a minute here to see if I can find this song. And if not, off we go. I remember it started with the D. It was like down or drowned or like something. Let me see. More than a year ago, is it downside? Nope, that's not it. I'm going to look at the ones with the D's. I'm going to spend 2 more minutes and then we're going. All right? Fuck it. Not going to go crazy. Not going to spend all night looking for this, but I've got 2 minutes to invest. We got 2 minutes to invest for a really good song. Oh. That's the song. But it's like, I guess I thought it had a beat, and that's more like traditional rock. But I did find the song, right? But yeah, all right. That's the song I was thinking of. So maybe it was the vocals that I liked. All right, fuck it. I'm thwarted. My memory sucks. Because there it was, but... Huh. Is that it? Nah, maybe that's not it. I thought it was more upbeat. Dude, some of this music is so funny, bro. Dude, let's go. All right. Yep, no, we're stuck, bro. Oh, dude. 𝗣𝗙𝗍𝗍? Who is this? Dude, I think I'm gonna dance to this, bro. Dude, this shit is like candy, bro. I'm gonna get the lyrical version. You ready? We're gonna do this one, dude. Fuck it. All right, we're gonna go. I found the lyrical version. This is a girl named 𝗣𝗙𝗍𝗍. The song is called Hide and Seek. Now, what's funny is the EP that I was gonna pull my music off has a song called Hide and Seek on it, right? And so I don't know. This one is like some real cheesy, like gumball pop with a girl voice, which I think will be interesting. All right, so let's get in here. Let's fucking get ready to grind it. We're gonna do a little 𝗣𝗙𝗍𝗍 work here, all right? Let's see what we got. Let's give it a run. Oh yeah, baby! Let's go!
I've been hungry for affection, baby. Best believe that you got my attention, baby. Now I see you there in my reflection.
I I've never heard this song with the lyrics, but let's go. You're bringing it home. Dude, I'm gonna have to get in shape, baby! Oh man, let's go! Woo! Oh man. Dude, yeah, see, that was way better. That was a way better song to dance to. Oh shit. Oh yeah, I'm winded, but that was a jam, bro. What I will say is that there's you're not gonna get that from any other political streamer. I guarantee it. That is a unique experience. Right? This is what differentiates me from the rest, guys. Oh, dude, I do like to move the body. Oh yeah. Dude, I'm gonna start getting yoked up, bro. The home of the political news with a beat. Yeah, we're on the beat, all right. We're just on a different kind of beat. Yeah, no, that was a good song. I'm gonna fucking put that in the liked department. I bet I could find a bunch of other songs like that if little investigation. Whew. All right, where were we? Does he dance once in a while? Dude, DDR? Dude, yeah, see, I was never good at DDR because I can't take directions, right? I can't. It was Brutus who donated those, right? It was... 𝗙𝗢𝗏. There we go. It was that person right there. 𝗙𝗏𝗏 is who donated you love. But I can't do the take direction dance moves. I've always thought it would be interesting to be a dancer where you have to, learn a routine. I think that would be super hard for me. And maybe I'll take a dance class at some point, but I do love just totally like flowing with music. I've always loved it as a kid. And like I said, my dad, despite him being a damaged, sort of violent and abusive man, he was a really good dancer. And he used to do polka dancing. And in particular, he had this thing he would do called the Harrington Shuffle, where he would move his feet so fast that you couldn't see them. Like polka dancing is a little bit similar. Like when they do it solo, it's a little similar to Irish dancing, like the jigs. But he would do it so crazy that you would just see a blur under him and he would be moving. So whenever we would go out to these like polka dances, which my parents went to them a lot, eventually at some point in the night, the band would start cooking and the whole room would clear and form a circle clapping. And my dad would go out in the middle and fucking put on this insane show, like doing this dance that nobody else in that room could do. So I grew up watching him, like, I don't know, shine in that element. And I have a little bit of that still in me, right? That little dancer in me. Definitely got it from him. And it's crazy because my son is pretty, I don't know, he's way more low key than me, but he dances too. Like back when he was in middle school, he performed like a Monsta X dance with like a hat and shit. That was crazy. I was like, holy shit, you got the gene too. He's just a little more conservative with it right now, but oh, dude, you're a person with 2 left feet? Yeah, there you go. 2 left feet, you're just doing a different kind of dance. That's all. But oh, that was fun though. Thank you guys though, seriously. Thank you for all the donos and for like we've now hit that goal, that 10 of 10 goal twice, which is amazing. I really appreciate it. It's fucking, it means a lot. Like we're starting to grow a little bit, which is super exciting because I'm still like $20,000 in debt from building this thing, but I know that I can see the end. I can see like I'm going to be out of debt in about a year, I think. Right? If I live lean, right? I think I'll be out of debt next year at this time, going into the 2026 elections. I'll be out of debt, which is good. Adult children are like you, love of singing and performing on stages. Nice. Yeah, I got the stage bug for sure. And it was nurtured early. Like, I don't know if have you guys ever been to Universal Studios, right? You ever been to Universal? So if you're not, Universal Studios, and you're welcome, Morgan. Thank you for those donos. Universal Studios has these things where you go and you sit in an auditorium and there's like hundreds of people, and then you get picked from the crowd to go up on stage and you do this show that they film, and it's like making mini movies. And so when I was a kid in like, I don't know, I think I was in 3rd grade, right? We went to Universal Studios and I got picked out of the crowd of like 300 people to do this Blues Brothers skit where we like threw pies in each other's faces. I was so small that like my suit, the blue suit I had on was like a foot longer than my arms and legs and shit. And it was amazing. And it was so good. But my parents didn't want to spend $20 to buy the videotape. So I got to experience it live in front of hundreds of people, but they didn't buy the tape, which that's a whole nother. I had many therapy sessions working through that one because I thought that was inexcusable. Like your son, he just performed for 400 people at Universal Studios. He is like the biggest day of his life, and you need to buy the fucking videotape. I don't care if you have to like sell your fucking jacket. You know what I'm saying? In that instance, the parent needs to buy the fucking tape. But that kind of solidified in me early on, like my sort of performance, my performance gene, which is a big deal, right? Let's go, dude. You gotta find those passions. All right, what do we have left now? We're still talking about Elon. this is, this would be interesting, right? I think him starting the America Party would be really interesting because it would siphon away the people from the Republican Party, and we could start a leftist party. You know what I'm saying? Or DSA could partner up with some big people and start hammering out like populist fucking policy. See, you know what I don't understand, guys, about America? Here's what I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand this. I don't understand why the American people will look at like $1 trillion spent in 1 year on the military, right? They will look at like billions of dollars spent on the LAPD. But the idea of spending like $500 billion on something that makes all of our lives better, they're like, whoa, right? They'll spend $1 trillion on weapons that just sit in a fucking corner somewhere, right? Because, we're like not going to go to any more wars. So you're buying a bunch of weapons. They're going to sit in a fucking garage somewhere, right? Like your uncle's fucking Studebaker with no tires. And you're fine with that spending. You're fine with spending all your money on riot gear and tanks for the police. But you won't spend any money on like the people, right? Like, I don't get it. Here in Chicago, my parents would be considered child abusers for that. Good, Brutus. They were abusers anyway. But all right, so Bernie's amendment was on. What's Bernie's amendment? What was his amendment? Yeah, dude, I would never partner with Elon, right? And don't get me wrong though, I am all for Elon rat fucking the Republicans. Dude, I'll help him rat fuck the Republicans. But I would not trust, like Elon's not trustworthy. I mean, just even seeing this, even seeing this shit right here. Hold on, let me do it over here. Let me do it this way. Even seeing this shit where he's saying, oh, if they vote for this bill, I'm primarying them. I'm going to start a new party. It's like, homie, we're only in this situation because of you. You know what I'm saying? Like we are here because of Elon. Okay. And now he's threatening to primary the whole fucking Congress. Like, dude, nice work. Fucking dumbass. You know what I mean? Like so dumb, bro. Yeah, but so Roe and Hakeem Jeffries, they're money, guys. I know Roe is like a progressive, but dude, he represents one of the wealthiest districts in California. Okay, Roe Canna is of the wealthy set. I like the fact that he says he'd support progressive policies, and I like some of the shit he says, but I still consider him to be a bit of the enemy. Dude, Elf, let's go, baby. Because it's a class war, guys. Okay? It is, we still have a class war going here in America. Thank you, Elf. Thank you, all of you guys who donated tonight. Like, you guys really went fucking crazy. Dude, yeah, I just don't trust those guys, right? Because Roe Canna's district, when Donald Trump became president, Roe Canna's district all got, like a couple $100,000 of new income, right? They got far richer by Trump winning, okay? And so it's almost like he's in Congress advocating for this shit of like, this is what the people need, knowing that it's never going to happen. So he's advocating it because it's never going to happen. And then he looks like this ideologically pure guy who meanwhile is just hitting the cash register for a bunch of rich people in his district. over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Dude, it's true. I do see the light. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's because I'm lower class. You know, I mean, I know I went to a good education, but went to a good college, but only because it is cheap. But my parents, I grew up in a household with two parents that neither of them graduated from high school. My dad never even went to high school. He left school in the 8th grade. My mom left when she was 16 because she was pregnant with twins. And then she had 2 more kids in 2 successive years. By the time she was 18, she had 4 children. Okay, so she didn't graduate high school. She went back and got her GED when she was like 40, and my dad never did. So I was like, you know, working class. You know what I mean? And Lila, I know there are working class people there too. I get that. But there's the working class people in his district are the ones who sort of take care of the wealthy. Like his district is like, I think mostly wealthy, but you're right. There are working class people there too. But I don't think he's really fucking serving them that well. Dad graduated from college. He's so ADHD. Yeah. I mean, that's tough. The ADD. Dude, Melania's in your mail order bride catalog? All right. Be down with that. I'm down. I'm down with the Melania mail order. Just kidding. Have I looked into the Working Family Party? Yeah, isn't that the one from Minnesota? Isn't the Working Family, that's Ken Martin's party, isn't it? Yeah, I think. I thought, I could be wrong. He's from some party that sounds like that. Oh no, his is the Democratic Farm Labor. His is the DFL. Never mind. Yeah. Working Families Party. Maurice Mitchell. Cross-endorsing candidates through fusion voting. Colors are purple and orange. All right. It's 59,000 registered voters in the state of New York. So it's primarily just a New York party. Has 2 seats on the Philadelphia City Council. Yeah, this is the part that's fucking tough, right? Is like, right? You know what I'm saying? Fucking, what does DSA have? I'm curious how many members. So DSA have 3 House reps, 14 state reps, 46 in the lower chambers of states. All right. Dude, that's crazy. Look at that. But they have 3 House reps. Who is the House reps in DSA? It's AOC was DSA. Oh, but not anymore, right? She was, though. Who are their House reps now? Let's go, nerdy nerd. So who are the current ones? Rashida Tlaib, Greg Kasar, and because Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman just got booted. Yeah, no, let's watch that. We can watch the Anna clip. You cannot run for office if you don't run on the corp tickets. Well, no, you can upside down. You just have to run a much more savvy campaign, right? I think I think we're going to see more of it in the future because of social media. Prior to social media, you absolutely could not. Okay, you absolutely could not, unless you were in a rustic place like Maine or Vermont, where they've sort of respect the independent, right? Like Angus King, Bernie, there were a couple independents to be had. But, now I think people do cross affiliations, but I think it's going to change a little more in the future. And particularly, I don't know about the state, I don't know about the Senate, but I think in districts, you can still go door to door, and with a really savvy like social media strategy and some notoriety that way, I think we're going to see more people be able to win outside of the main models. I think it's, what we're going through now with the Dems sort of like getting hammered and getting resented. I think if Elon or somebody starts that third party, we might see more of that. But yeah. I'm thinking about the future. See, you know what I've thought, guys? Let me just tell you. Here's what I've thought. I've used actually a Steve Bannon term here of flooding the zone. Okay? I believe that what we need, if we want to crack that sort of Dem Republican stronghold on things, we need to flood the zone, which means we need a whole bunch of people like Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, a whole bunch of people that are running small campaigns fueled by social media, fueled by going door to door, fueled by renegating their own way of getting whatever press coverage they can, going on alternative media on YouTube and shit like that. Even if they lose, okay, just a bunch of working class people who say, you know what, I'm running and I'm not even going to have a chance of winning probably, but I'm running anyway because I'm tired of the stranglehold of these two corporate parties. And if we have thousands of people running in that way to where there's so many voices, 1,000 tiny voices start sounding like an audible rumble, okay? 1,000 people whispering is pretty fucking loud, okay? And if we do that for a couple of election cycles in a way that we lose, you lose, but you've inserted yourself to the conversation, and 1,000 people have been whispering in every election, I think that type of energy could crack some things open, okay? We'd have to do it for a while, though. It could take 20 years of that. And then one or two of those people is going to win in flukes, like 1 or 2, 3 or 4. They're going to win. These flukes are going to happen. But we need to play the numbers game, okay? Like, for example, when I was a young guy, I used to hang out with a lot of girls. I went out on a lot of dates. I had a lot of hangouts, but it wasn't because I was particularly good looking. It wasn't because I had money, because I didn't. It was because I was not afraid to ask, okay? So anytime I wanted to go out on a date with a girl and I found a girl interesting, I would just ask her out. And I got a lot of no's, but I got a lot of yeses too. And there's this idea that if you have enough people reaching and you do enough asking, you start generating results simply because of the confidence of showing up and asking. And there's a real truth to that this energy you put out there, if regular people flood the zone and they use their social media and they're earnest about it and they lose, but it's like 1,000 whispers, you do that long enough and then people start winning. And then the more that they start winning, the bigger the momentum gets, but it helps though to root it in genuine nature, right? Because I didn't just ask women because I thought if I ask 100, someone's going to say yes. It was always honest. I always found them interesting. I always wanted to go out and get to know them more. And so it was rooted in a genuine nature, but I just wasn't afraid to ask. I wasn't afraid of that failure, you know? And yeah, no, I like the socialist tag. I think we need to deprogram some of that socialist nonsense, right? You know what I mean? Nothing is sexier than a good sense of humor and confidence. 'Tis true. 'Tis true. I've gotten a lot of a lot of my dating success was based on my sense of humor and just like being charming, right? And unpredictable, right? Dude, yeah, baby. Run to be socialist council representatives. I like it, Whitnow. It sounds like a good idea. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm waiting to see Langford. I'm going to leave this on and fucking wait until Langford announces it. Is this still the Bernie bill? Dude, it is now 4 a.m. there. They pull some crazy hours, these guys. Dude, I kind of want to get into Congress. I'm intrigued by it. I used to not sort of like want it, but now I kind of want to get in there. I think in general, we're so afraid to fail, puts you in a state of paralysis. Yeah, no. Well, you know what's funny about it is the thing about failure is like we somewhere along the line, we got the wires crossed where people started looking at failure as like a bad thing. Like if you fail, you've done bad. You right? But what's crazy about it is like failure is a required step, right? It's like it is one of the building blocks of success. You know what I mean? Like failure is it's like you don't have to worry about failure. What you have to worry about is maintaining your enthusiasm through failure. It's really like an enthusiasm game because failure is one of the building blocks, right? Like nothing, any task, right? Like if you want to learn how to play, Beethoven, you can't sit down and just play Beethoven. You have to fail like 180, 200,000 times before you can play that Beethoven. You know what I mean? The failure is like, the failure is like a near success. Every one of them is a near success. I do have a massive amount of energy. I have an unhealthy amount of energy, ungodly amount. It's hard to get work done sometimes. But yeah, let's watch this fucking video. I want to watch this John Ida video real quick. We'll check back on this. This is like watching grass grow. Oh, look at that. There's 𝗫𝗫𝗀𝗧, dude. There she is. There's the ghoul, bro. Look at her. Look at her, dude. There's the E.T., the troll herself. I fucking spot her anywhere, bro. Alaska, right? You know what I'm saying? There she is. She's another reason we're going through this. Her and Susan Collins, right? The people who keep saying, oh, I'm so concerned. Oh, yeah, she doesn't look afraid. She's not afraid. She's out there trying to just get shit for Alaska, right? That's basically like, you know what it is? I'll tell you what it is, guys. I'm going to tell you, right? Because of our form of representative government based on district, based on state, you know what it is, guys? These people are not loyal to their country. They're loyal to their state. They're loyal to their district. So 𝗫𝗫𝗀𝗧 will go in, and in order to win for Alaska, she'll let the rest of the country fry as long as Alaska wins. And the Texas reps will do that. The Alabama reps will do that. Yes. I mean, they're donors, certainly. That's part of it. But some of it is their state. Some of it is giving the people just enough to win re-election. And then it's the donors in their state. They always have big state donors, right? But if they can win an infrastructure problem for the people who paid them in office, and if they can win one thing for the people that will get them reelected, they don't care about the country, right? They don't, like, none of these people really care about the country as a whole, right? And that's kind of like I think it would be better, guys, if we had representatives that didn't represent local governments, that simply represented the entire nation, right? You know what I mean? And that's fucking crazy. So yeah, Morgan, I think in general, I think like most of this shit can be undone. It's just when you say undone, it's not going to get undone in 2026. I think it's going to get undone in you know, the next 20 years. You don't think 𝗙ص cares much about Michigan? I mean, she cares enough about Michigan in interest in order to get reelected, right? This is why, guys, this is why what you see is you see people like Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace who voted against Joe Biden's infrastructure bill, but then they tweet, I just brought $2 million to the state of South Carolina. I just won $10 million for Colorado. But they voted no on it, right? But they're like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, ooh, I got some fucking, you know what I mean? They're like, you know, it sucks, dude. We have Trump threatening withhold payments to blue states. Yeah, that's bad. I think the blue states should fight back too, right? You know what I'm saying? She won in a state that Trump won. She has higher aspirations. Maybe, right? I think she is like, I think 𝗙ص is playing the game of like making it so she can convert, right? Like you may have looked at some of these politicians, like, you know, Fetterman, they play conversion politics where, right? Like if you think about it, if you're, you know, high school athletes do this. If you're more valuable if you can play on offense and defense. Okay? So some of these people that have deep political aspirations are trying to keep America in that centrist vein, and they're trying to wear clothing that makes them look good from both sides. So they could party switch, or they can, you know, like try to pull other groups to the middle with them, right? To curry favor. But I almost certainly, you look at people like John Fetterman, people like 𝗙ص😍, and I think they have presidential aspirations. Absolutely, somewhere in there. They're trying to think, ooh, you know, could I be president, right? But 𝗙ص😍, she's never going to be president. No. I would sacrifice my own life to make sure that never happened. Another CIA warmonger, like, nah. Dude, fuck that, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think like removing districts would be the way to go. Having every representative be statewide, okay, and in the House, and then having every senator be national, right? Where, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it sucks because we have everything organized by district and state. And so we're always going to have that like, you know, you can buy them off. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, for the most part, though, I don't hate the Democratic Party as much as a lot of my left-wing counterparts. And it's not that I don't actually hate them, because I think I do have a disdain for the corporate billionaire sort of like shit. I have a disdain. Oh, wait.
So did transgender groups and radical left-wing groups who want to use blue state regulations.
Okay, hold on.
Amendment number 2360.
Oh, Ted
Mr.
Cruz.
President, a few hours ago, we had an agreement that Blackburn-Cruz was set to pass. It was a compromise that would have imposed a 5-year moratorium on state regulation of artificial intelligence. When I spoke to President Trump last night, he said it was a terrific agreement. The agreement protected kids and protected the rights of creative artists. But outside interests opposed that deal. Communist China, which desperately wants...
Communist, dude! He's got the stench of a loser. His amendment, I think he thought it was a shoo-in, and his amendment just got sunk, dude. Can't you tell? You can just smell it. It's like, oh, Ted, you smell like a rancid fucking loser. Yeah, no moratoriums on AI. There's no fucking way with Palantir and big balls and all these tech weirdos in government. You are not fucking getting a moratorium on AI, bro. That shit needs to fucking go.
To beat the United States in the race for AI, hated the deal. Liberal politicians like Gavin Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass and Comrade Mamdani, who are all eager to aggressively regulate AI.
Comrade Mamdani! It's Mamdani! Comrade! Oh my God, Comrade. Dude, what a fucking cuck, bro. I want to know who Ted Cruz hires to pleasure his wife. Because this guy is he is such a sore loser. He is a loser, right? With a terrible beard, but he's a sore loser, right? He's a guy who loses most of the time and can't even be eloquent about it, right?
All hated the moratorium. Randy Weingarten spoke out against the moratorium. So did transgender groups and radical left-wing groups who want to use blue state regulations to mandate woke AI.
Mandate woke AI, dude. I hate to break it to you, Ted, and let me just pierce the bubble for you, Ted. You ready? This will help you. Your battle against woke AI is a loser from the start. You know why, Ted? Because AI is higher intelligence, and all higher intelligence will always be woke. And even if you program it to not be woke, it's going to end up being woke as soon as it interfaces with enough human beings. Because higher intelligence is woke. And your limited lizard brain, fucking low vibrational fucking intelligence is, that biblical shit is anti-woke. So you could program all the AI to be Christian anti-woke bullshit. And if it talks to enough people, it's going to be woke, bro. It's going to end up being woke because all higher intelligence is woke. So it's fun to watch you squirm and prance about like angry and like, oh, they wokeified the AI. But you're going to figure it out eventually, or you're not, right? You're going to die with your lizard brain, and your daughter hates you because she knows you're a misogynist cucklord fucking piece of shit who sold his whole family and all women over for one sniff of Donald Trump's rancid ass, right? You're going to die alone, right? While your daughter's hanging out with a woke AI boyfriend being like, yeah, my dad's a cock. We all know it. Sorry, America. Sorry, world, right? And it's all because you're just too dumb to understand like how the world works.
In this body, your word is your currency. Our deal would have passed easily.
Dude, he is mad. I don't know exactly the details of what went on here with Ted Cruz's amendment, but he is mad, isn't he? This is actually enjoyable here. I bet his daughter is watching this going, she's so happy, dude. Oh.
But a couple of hours ago, the other side backed out. I recognize many of my colleagues would prefer not to vote on this matter. Therefore, I withdraw the Blackburn-Cruz amendment, and I would suggest that Blackburn 2814, the motion to strike, be adopted by voice vote.
Oh, no better words. I withdraw my Marsha Blackburn, Ted Cruz, nasty xenophobic bullshit, fear of woke, AI moratorium, crappy, stupid amendment made by stupid, like evangelical people with bad ideas. Dude, he backed out. Dude, he fucking quit.
The senator has that right.
Bye-bye. I got a song for you, Ted. Hey, 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 goodbye. Na, 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 na. Hey, hey, goodbye. Na, 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 na. Marsha Blackburn, Ted Cruz, goodbye. Ted Cruz, Marsha Blackburn, evangelicals, goodbye. All right, I will be here all week. Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
I recognize the senator from Tennessee.
Thank you,
Oh,
Mr.
there she
President.
is.
Yes, indeed, there was problems with the language that was in this amendment, and I regret that we weren't able to come to a compromise that would protect our governors, our legislators, state legislators, our attorney generals, and of course, House members who have expressed concern over this language.
Dude, I love watching Marsha Blackburn lose, dude. Dude, she is such a troll, right? Her and Ted Cruz, like they are just awful human beings, man.
I appreciate that we are going to withdraw this one, and I would like to be recognized.
And you'll call 2814.
Yeah. I would like to be recognized on my amendment 2814 and ask that it be reported by number.
The clerk will report.
The senator from Tennessee, Mrs. Blackburn, for herself, and Ms. Cantwell proposes an amendment number 2814 to amendment number 2360.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to thank Senator Cruz for the work and the time that he put in trying to find a resolution
for our hillbilly amendment.
This issue.
I'd like to thank all the hillbillies who helped me get up here and make people suffer listening to my bullshit.
I do appreciate that. But what we know is this. This body has proven that they cannot legislate on emerging technology. It is frustrating. We have not passed online privacy. We have not passed the No Fakes Act, the Copied Act.
Well, why is that? Because all you guys do is fucking dick around and sniff Trump's ass, right? You guys don't even make legislation anymore. Nobody in Congress does. Endless investigations, endless Trump ass sniffing, talking about putting him on Mount Rushmore and whatever else you guys do up there. You're making content. I don't know. Maybe you have a goddamn OnlyFans. Like, who knows what the fuck you guys are doing now?
There are all of these pieces of legislation dealing with AI that we haven't passed, but you know who has passed it? It is our states. They're the ones that are protecting children in the virtual space. They're the ones that are out here protecting.
No offense, but Marsha, we need to protect children from you, right? You're the ones who are trying to look in their fucking underpants when they use the bathroom, or trying to do a genital check on them to play sports, or like putting them in Sunday school with people that molest the shit out of them. Right? In threatening them with hellfire while they're getting taken advantage of in the church. Like, goddamn. And you talk about drag queens and shit while their pastors are like sticking their hands in their skirts. Like, if anybody needs protection, right, the kids need to be protected from you, Marsha. Okay? You and Ted. Jesus.
Our entertainers, name, image, likeness of broadcasters, podcasters, authors, and it is appropriate that we approach this issue with the seriousness that it deserves.
Yeah, you could start by getting Palantir and Donald Trump and the AI out of our fucking personal data there on the national level, you weirdo.
And we have not reached a resolution on this, so therefore, I ask my colleagues to join me in striking section 40012. Vote yes. Let's pass this bill. Let's get
Senator's time has
everybody
expired.
off to July 4th and a happy
Senator's time has
Independence
expired.
Day.
Dude, off to July 4th. Dude, oh my God. She's what Roseanne Barr would have been before the car crash. Oh, Lordy.
I ask for the yeas and nays.
Well done.
Dude, she is so craven. She is, dude. She is so craven. All right. You've never seen this one before? Dude, she is so hideous. All right. Dude, I want to watch the little 𝗙ص𝗶𝗶𝗃 clip, and then I'm going to go make some videos. I would love to stay all night, but I can't. And Natalie put the 𝗙ص𝗶𝗃𝗃 clip in chat somewhere. Dude, Ted Cruz, dude. I love watching him and Marsha Blackburn lose. Dude, I can't stand them. Oh, man, I can't stand them. Oh, shit. All right. Is Natalie around? Need my rest? Yeah, I don't get a lot of rest these days. All right, I think she put it in Discord. Yeah, no, we're watching one more video and then we're gonna go. Oh wait, we got to look at this. Trump responds to Musk. Look at this shit. So Trump responded to Elon saying, this is Trump's response to Elon's threats about the party. It says, Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous. It was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. There never was that they were. Elon may get more subsidy than any human being in history by far. And without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. Oh my God, dude. He's like pulling the go back to where you came from after Elon gave him $280 million. I mean, can you imagine? Like, you give somebody $280 million, and I mean, I knew Trump was gonna like fuck him off like this, but to think of the gall that Trump would do this shit, and Elon, of course, was dumb enough to fall for it. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production in our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have Doge take a good hard look at this. Big money to be saved. So Trump threatens to take away his contracts and unfold all this. But here's the problem, though. The problem is Elon may have self-interest. We know he does. But there is a reality that clean energy, solar and wind, like if we don't invest in solar and wind and we just invest in drilling oil and natural gas and fucking coal, we are going to get buried by the rest of the fucking world. We are going to end up so far behind, dude. Like 20 years from now, we're going to be so fucked. It's not even funny, man. Like to turn against like new energy. It's like Donald Trump wants to take us back to the fucking railroads or some shit. Like, goddamn, bro. It's just not fucking smart, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we know Trump is a dumb shit, but that is like extra layers of dumb shit. Like, all right, hold on. Let me find the 𝗙ص𝗶𝗶𝗃 clip. All right, this is
my garbage person of the week.
I think this is it. Hold on. Oh, dude, I wish Natalie was here so I would fucking... I thought I copied and pasted the clip, but I guess I didn't. Shit. Yeah, but is this it? But she had one that was time-stamped, though. I have this one. I thought she had one that was time-stamped, though. That was like a longer clip, but was fucking time-stamped in a greater thing, but maybe not. We'll just watch this and roll with this.
My garbage person of the week is going to be Tucker Carlson, because in a time in which he is, like, theoretically, not always for the right reasons, but on the right side of an issue, he's trying to use it to whitewash all of the harm that he did when he was hosting on Fox News. He said recently, he had on his show in his hunting cabin, because he's a regular guy that likes to hunt or whatever. He had this Fox employee on, or former Fox employee. He's talking about his disagreement with Fox News about the war with Iran. And he said, this is really the first time I've attacked them, talking about Fox. They canned me over 2 years ago. And he added that, I think it really matters because the purpose of their coverage has been to, quote, scare old people into obedience.
Now that's rich coming from Tucker Carlson. The accusation, isn't it funny when conservatives start eating their own because they have like no self-awareness? They're the least self-aware people on the fucking planet.
And he goes on to say that he was, back when he worked there, a semi-witting cog in the propaganda machine. And the idea is that he was unknowingly going along with this plot of terrifying old people and just accepting whatever your politicians tell you. But he was not a semi-witting cog. He was like the guy in the cab leading the train. He was their chief propagandist.
Dude, he was. Remember Tucker's show? Like, Tucker's show was like always racist. It was always like fear-mongering against crime. It was like replacement theory, right? Like, his show was like the biggest show on the goddamn network. It was the flagship of the fear. I feel like right now, like, Hannity has sort of filled into that spot, right? Being the chief, like, fear-mongering guy. But, like, dude, Tucker was like the king of the fear-mongering, like all of it. Yeah, climate denial. I mean, like, you know, misogyny, like, you name it, right? Especially though the racism, like, it was the constant coverage of black crime or black people in a way that made them seem like anti-American and harmful to the future of America. It was like real, like, eugenics kind of shit, you know?
For at least a few years. And yes, he disagrees with them on this particular thing now. But the idea that he wasn't an active and knowing participation in this scheme, as if in all those other issues where he was knowingly lying about the threat of migrants and caravans. And even in this interview, he talks about boys and girls sports as if that's not the latest way that they're trying to terrify people into accepting whatever your politicians tell you. He is a very witting cog in the propaganda machine and remains so. He's just not in the Fox version of that thing.
Now, I would like to pause here, okay? Because I believe there's a call out coming on right? I believe there's a call out coming on Anna in this video. Okay, now I do want to point out something though, that the technique that he's talking about it's hard, okay? Because John, right? John is like, you know, being the statesman here of like purity, I suppose, and integrity. But John is on a network that is doing the exact same type of sane washing, okay? Because he's accusing Tucker Carlson of, you know, taking a stand now while simultaneously, right, there's this idea of like Tucker Carlson's taking a stand and we shouldn't agree with his stand or give him credit because of all the negative shit he's done. But there's an active movement right now on TYT where they're doing this, okay? Anna Kasparian did it with Candace Owens just the other day, where she's like, oh my God, that Candace interview was fire, is what she said, right? While seemingly turning a blind eye to all of the crazy fucking shit that Candace Owens has carried with her. All the baggage, all the harm. They do it with Tucker Carlson. Cenk Uygur has been defending Tucker. He has been defending MTG while simultaneously just, you know, wiping the chalkboard of all the really harmful really dangerous shit that these people have done. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Anna did it tonight by getting all high and mighty about Lindy Lee's, you know, Islamophobia and her bigotry when she is like literally Lindy Lee's partner on that fucking PBD show. And so, like, man, you know, if you're going to have the integrity, you gotta, like, I hope he, like, calls out the whole network. I don't think he will. I think he's going to get away with calling out Anna, but I don't think he's going to call out Cenk on this. And, right? Like, I don't think he's going to call out Cenk. I think he's obeying the patriarchy sort of, like, legacy that sits at TYT, where even though Anna is, like, way up there, I think they can attack Anna. I don't think they can attack Cenk. I think when you attack Cenk like Franny did, you're done. When you tell the truth about Cenk like Sam Cedar did, oh, you're done, right? He's like the ultimate fucking, you know, like frail ego at that network.
And so I like that he is against the war in Iran, but the idea that that makes him honest, or that can rewrite the history of all of the damage that he did across so many issue areas and normalizing the replacement theory conspiracy and all of that is just insane and should not be allowed. And then he goes on to say this, which I think is kind of funny. He talks about the effect that working at Fox had on his body. He said, I just got fat. I mean, it's incredibly hard physically. Everything about it is the hardest job I ever had. And look, if you want to say that emotionally or psychologically talking about the news can have an effect on you, it can. It's had an effect on me. It did make me very fat and all of that. But it's not hard physically. And you have a massive staff. You got all these people. You have a beautiful studio. And all you have to do is read some conspiracy theories off a teleprompter for like an hour a day. And you're talking about it as if you're like digging out foundations for buildings or framing a house or something. God, it's just this desire to seem relatable and folksy that just he goes way beyond any of the credit he actually deserves for anything. So Tucker Carlson's my garbage person of the week. What do you think?
Listen, in order for me to determine whether Tucker Carlson has had harder jobs, I'm going to need to hear a list of Tucker Carlson's hard jobs. This might be the hardest job he's ever had to do. Tucker Carlson, the son of the guy who ran like the Association of Broadcasters, the guy who's got like, whose dad was the ambassador to the Seychelles. Talk to me about how hard your life is as the heir to the Swanson fortune. The hardest job this guy had was having to get his ass kicked during one episode of Crossfire by Jon Stewart, which launched him into anonymity for a while. And he had his first brush with potentially not succeeding. And he flailed. My guy was on Bubba the Love Sponge talking about monkey-like Iraqis and trying so hard to regain relevancy because the only thing Tucker cares about is whether or not he has an audience.
Yeah.
Anna said something on the show that was so troubling to me. I know she believes it. It was like,
here it comes.
But it's what might happen if people who earnestly take people at their word listen to Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's anti-war. No. He is anti-war because Tucker Carlson only concedes things that he has to or that he thinks don't matter. That is very important. He'll be like,
see, what's great about this though is you know, remember when Tucker got fired from Fox and he was like, oh, I'm on Twitter now and this is going to be even bigger and better than Fox. Like, I'm so happy I got fired. Like, you know, he's suffering now, right? You know, he is like gone the Don Lemon route where like he's not having nearly the success and the accolades or anything that he had when he was on Fox. It's been a massive fucking step down, right? And it's you know, so now he's sort of like trying to like have a foot in multiple yards and shit because he's fucking scrambling, right? He is scrambling. He had it made at Fox. He had it fucking made. at Fox, dude. He did. He literally was like a demigod, and he lied. Like, lying for Trump was, what a waste, bro. What did it get him? It got him nothing, dude. It got him like shit on as well. Like, all of these right wingers that buy into this shit, they just get shit on in the end.
I was a semi-winning
It's beautiful
card
to watch.
no one's gonna be like, Tucker Carlson, he said, I had no idea that we scared people. You idiot. Oh, I kind of knew it was happening. He concedes that because he thinks he has to. But Tucker Carlson has been scared. He's like, oh, I can't believe they scared people for that long, because that's my job.
Yeah.
That's what 100%. I do. He scares people into submission. He only cares. That's the decoder ring on everything Tucker Carlson says. He doesn't believe anything. He's one of those speech and debate boys who's like, I could take any side of any argument and use a combination of tools I've honed, such as I'm just asking a question. And
see, the thing about him is in a way, I want to answer that question about Tucker. So the thing about Tucker is, in a way, Tucker was untouchable until it was the threat of discovery in a lawsuit, because Fox wasn't worried about the money with Dominion. What they were worried about is having to open up their internal communications so the whole world would see what they were really saying about all this shit, right? That was what fucking got Tucker fired, is if they could have just, right? They had to just sort of cut him loose because he threatened the whole operation, really, right? And it wasn't even him personally. He was just kind of the fall guy. His show was the epicenter of that lie. And they knew that, like, firing him and paying out that money would just make it go away, right? And so, you know what I'm saying? And like, ultimately, Tucker knows that he had to sort of keep quiet about everything and fall on the sword, and then he would still be able to survive, right? Because certainly if he had become like a whistleblower or something, they probably would have just completely, like, ended him. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, but the discovery, if they had to open up like all those producers and all those executives, like, dude, that shit would have been gnarly. I like very badly wanted it to come out, but
it's hilarious that you would even say that. What do you mean that out? That's ridiculous. That's what he does along the way. Oh, I couldn't even believe this. I once had this position and I realized it's ridiculous now. No, you realized it was ridiculous then. You just used those other tools I was talking about to make it seem like you didn't actually think it was ridiculous and to advocate it because you were confident that with everybody in places they were rhetorically, positionally, in terms of their like political coalitions, you could navigate this way so you could gain an audience.
Yeah. And
Period.
Everyone remember, the legal strategy in defense of Tucker Carlson was that nobody should take seriously what he says. It's just entertainment. And everyone remember the text that came out that proved that he despised Donald Trump. He thought he was a destroyer who was wrecking the country. And then he would go on TV every day because he needs those people to like him and lie about it and pretend that Donald Trump is the best.
Can you imagine that life of, like, you despise Trump, you know he's a charlatan, you know he's a con man, you know he's disgusting, but you go out on a show every day and I'm like, Trump is the greatest, this guy is amazing. Like, dude, like, what type of psychic damage? Like, seriously, in order to do that, you have to, like, psychically damage yourself in a way to where you just don't, like, care about reality and the harm you're causing at all. Like, it's a fucking, like, bro, I mean, we should get teams of psychiatrists to study these fucking people.
He was not a semi-witting anything. He lied about Donald Trump so that he'd have access and an audience. Those are our garbage people. 65,000 of you voted for the community garbage person of the week. And number 4 had 5% of the vote. That's Charlie Kirk for his Islamophobic tweets about Mamdani. 8% of the vote went to RFK Jr. for defending using fake sources in the Maga report. 18% went to Donald Trump for posting a deranged music video about bombing Iran. But 69% of you nice voted for the SCOTUS for allowing Trump to deport migrants to third countries.
See, now this is interesting though, because I'm curious about this. Does he bring that producer Brett guy on all the time? Is that producer Brett a regular appearer to have a long monologue like that on the show? Or is that like slightly unusual? I don't watch this show regularly. I know he used to do the show with Fran, and because what's intriguing about it is I know like Natalie put it in there talking about how they name dropped Anna, right? But I find it really interesting that it was Brett who came in and name dropped Anna. And right, it's really interesting. And John let him name drop Anna, but he didn't like agree with it. Or so he is a staple. Yeah, that's really interesting though, that like he brings it up, but John just sort of like let it be out there with no commentary. You know what I mean?
Thank you, everybody who voted for that. Your hero of the week was chosen by 53,000 of you. 7% went to both Representative Stansbury for triggering Marjorie Greene on doggy failures and Ariana Grande for reposting AOC's message on impeaching Trump. That's kind of a low bar, but I have nothing against what Ariana Grande did. She's my Dua Lipa. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, 17% went to AOC for her clapback of Trump's unhinged insult about her. 70% though went to the New Yorkers for rejecting Cuomo and voting for Zohran Mamdani. So I like that. Great heroes, and there are many of them. Thank you to everybody who voted.
Oh, Kirsten Cinema.
If you enjoyed that, make sure that you.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what John's deal is, because I know everybody says that like, right? Everybody says with John that like he's got a baby, financial considerations, but frankly, when it comes to your political integrity, right? Like I don't think that should be involved in your decision making. You know what I mean?
Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer.
Like, yeah, this is all lagging now. But all right, I'm going to go make some videos. Dude, even C-SPAN or Fox News is starting to eat shit. I got to go make vids, guys. It is time for edit mode. Yeah, I feel like if the integrity of your shit goes, you should like walk, right? You should make a statement. But I don't think he wants to harm Cenk and TYT, right? I really don't. I think he wants to sort of, in his own way, sort of protect them, you know? Because they gave him his big break or whatever. I mean, dude, I hate to say this. It's not different than what Kamala Harris did with Joe Biden, okay? Kamala Harris did the same thing. Okay, Cenk is a power broker in that world. Cenk brought him in and gave him this stellar opportunity. So John, in return, is like going to maybe disagree with him, but he's not going to throw him completely under the bus. And Kamala did the same thing with Joe Biden. Like Joe Biden, like opened a huge door for her with that vice presidential nomination, and fucking changed her fucking life. And so she was not willing to fucking throw the man who changed her life under the bus just to like win a political position. And I think, even though it was a terrible political consequence for Kamala Harris, it kind of speaks to the type of character she has, right? Which is, that type of loyalty gets complicated, right? Because it can be both touching and it can also be destructive in the power structures as well, right? Like when we do that, sometimes it's like, yeah, this is a good thing. I remained loyal. I remained right. But sometimes it's like, well, you're also enabling the toxic power structure when you do that. The nepotism power structure, or the, you did me a favor and now I don't hold you responsible structure. But anyway, all right. Edit mode incoming. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right.
Fingertips, wanna kiss those lips. You cannot behave like that. Is that a fact? My mind's real stiff, cause I feel all washed upside down and out of place. Unerasing every social grace I lack, like a heart attack.
Edit mode has arrived.
Goodbye, my love, without a trace. Why don't you lose your grip on playing innocent? Got me turning on me. You never wanna give again. I'm shy when I ask you why. You don't know what to say, so you just say goodbye. Get good at comparisons, and even better.
Yeah, shit is crazy. That power structure stuff or that loyalty stuff. Dude, what a stream tonight, though. I will see you guys tomorrow, roughly the same time, maybe a little bit earlier. Trying to get on a little earlier so I can, get done a little earlier. Still play the Sophie Power song. Yes, there's a great Sophie Power song that I used to play on Twitch. Unfortunately, we can't do that here now. But it is time to go. I've got to go edit a couple videos. All right? I do love you guys. Thank you guys. Fucking big love. Big love, baby. Banging stream. Banging stream. Now I'm going to go do some banging editing. Alright? You guys be real. Keep it real, baby. Keep it real. I will see you tomorrow.